Can you believe it? It's finally here. It's the most wonderful time of the year, unless you get stressed out about how to pay for it. SaveWithConrad.com can help you make this the best Christmas ever. You won't make a house payment for the next 2 months. That's right. Skip your next 2 house payments and use all that cash for your extra holiday expenses. And come next year, you're going to have a lower monthly payment. Don't put Christmas on a credit card. Pay your credit card debt off at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 65084, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.
December 28th will mark the 25th anniversary of Starrcade 97, the culmination of a year-long build where Sting would finally step back in the ring to face Hollywood Hulk Hogan for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. The stage was set for a main event to become immortalized in wrestling history, and it did, but for all the wrong reasons. And for the first time in over 20 years on that 25th anniversary, Eric Bischoff and Nick Patrick will reunite to watch back and discuss what really happened that night at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C. Hosted by Conrad Thompson, a topic that led to one of the most heated exchanges in the history of 83 weeks.
And now you're going to act like it's ludicrous that we might think that that's what happened here when you managed to fuck up the single biggest moment in the history of wrestling, and now 20 years later you get on here and lie through your fucking teeth and say it's because he wasn't tan.
I'm not lying through much, Chief.
You finished over a tan? Is this real?
Ad-Free Shows presents a premium watch-along event, The Fast Count, with Eric Bischoff and Nick Patrick, December 28th, 10 p.m. Eastern, immediately following AEW Dynamite. All $29 level members and higher are invited to join, and Top Guy members will be able to ask Eric and Nick questions about this controversial night in wrestling. No spray tan necessary. Sign up today and reserve your spot at adfreeshows.com.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Well, in my age, I don't know how I'm doing right now. How you doing, Conrad?
Better than I deserve. Excited to be with you. We are going to be watching one of my favorite WCW shows of all time from my favorite era, Starrcade 1996. The NWO got started earlier in the year. Been lots of focus on making Nitro the number one show in all the land, and it is. The NWO is reaching a fever pitch, and we've got the cruiserweights, and man, just a lot of fun stuff going on here, including at the end of maybe my favorite ever WCW pay-per-view, Halloween Havoc 96, Roddy Piper comes back, and it sets up this match. It's almost like a rematch from the good old days of rock and wrestling in the WWF. Hulk Hogan versus Roddy Piper in Nashville, Tennessee for the world title. Or I guess it's a non-title match, but either way, our champion is in it. This is a fun time in your WCW experience, is it not?
It was very exciting to be a part of WCW back then because, again, you just never know who was going to show up because of the wars. And when Roddy Piper showed up, that just made it even more exciting. Now, I know there was a lot of talk that Roddy was, well, listen, Roddy was never the greatest worker in the world anyway. No. But there was a lot of talk or criticism that, that the matches sucked and Roddy was, with his, I guess he had hip replacement with his hip problems, was way past his prime. Of course he was, but still he was a big name and it was a big deal to have him with us. So it was cool.
It's a super fun show to watch. It's one of my all-time favorites, Starrcade 1996. We want you to watch along with us. Get your Peacock out. Go to season 14, episode 1, Starrcade 96. So just type in Starrcade, Starrcade. If you needed me to spell that for you, you're not listening to the right podcast. So turn it off and hit yourself in the head with a tack hammer. Starrcade 1996, season 14, episode 1. I'm rip roaring ready to go, and I think we have a very special countdown, Tony.
We do have a countdown, and just can I say this?
Please.
Why don't just a bunch of you go ahead and hit yourself in the head with a tack hammer anyway? I think that That would help us all out. Even if
you want
know,
our listeners to hit themselves in the head with a hammer in math.
Right.
Now that would probably result in less people listening next week.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
Yes.
Then never mind.
Agree.
Give me the season again so I can call it.
Come on, you motherfucker, you. It's season 14, episode 1.
Okay.
Starrcade 1996. Bitch. It's going to be a good show.
It is going to be a good show. And we do have a special countdown. This comes from Gavin Bloom.
Uh-oh.
Who's giving us his first time Gavin's giving us countdown. So I've previewed it. I hope you're ready.
Tony Schiavone, bringing some real sporty. You a lie, you a lie, you a lie. My spirit animal is Tony Schiavone. Much love to Medusa's coochie, all the way live. Fuck Disco Inferno, eating a sandwich at a Sapphire Shoe Show. You can eat almost anything if only you get past the smell. Roll Tide. If a lake house goose gets loose, Tony shits his pants and runs. No point in debating, no one boils water quite like Mom.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Play.
Two of wrestling's biggest icons lock up in this all-important reunion. Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
You got a real big problem, my friend.
Versus Roddy Piper.
I'm the only guy you have never been able to beat. As they say under the big top, it's showtime!
Hogan leads the NWO.
We are going to build a dynasty.
Piper walks alone.
I am not with the WCW. I am not with the NWO. I'm Roddy Piper.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Piper, I'm gonna break you in half.
Versus Roddy Piper.
No surrender, no retreat.
At Starrcade, the granddaddy of them all.
So, man, what a big show. What a big open. But first of all, what a big countdown. One of the more fun countdowns we've had in the history of the program. Bravo.
Yeah. Gavin, thanks very much. He had just about every one of our catchphrases in that you could have.
Nailed it, dude.
Yeah, he sure did. Right. Even boiling water. Man.
Nobody boils water quite like Mom.
I know.
Really fun show here that we're about to watch. And you see a capacity crowd here. I love seeing everybody dressed up for the special occasion of Starrcade. You can tell where we are timeline wise here in America and pop culture. Everybody's got that top button buttoned, and there's no ties, and they're almost like collarless shirts. This is a different look, and I think you're wearing a tuxedo jacket to top it off.
I do believe I am. Shiny lapels. I remember when I first wore that collar, the button collar.
Yeah.
Bischoff looked at me and said, "Oh, welcome to the modern era."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I said, "Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here."
You kind of low-key hated Bischoff your whole life, didn't you?
Loved Eric.
I mean, maybe more recently now, but
no,
you really thought he was a good-for-nothing son of a bitch back then, didn't
no.
you?
See, what you're trying to do, you're trying to cause shit between podcast people.
Oh, I'm not.
No, yes, you are. Yes,
How?
you are. Okay. Just by saying something like that.
Wait, you just said, welcome to the modern era. He was being a shithead to you, Tony. Can you not see that? I'm on your side. I don't like it when mommy and daddy fight. But if they did, I hope dad and mommy beats their ass.
I love this broadcast team. I'm working with Brain and the Dream.
Who would you? So let's compare and contrast the OG team of AEW Dynamite: Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur with the outfit we just saw. Who is the Dusty of that group?
Wow.
Who is the Tony of that group?
Wow. That's
I think Excalibur would be the Tony Schiavone of this era.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
And would Dusty be JR with the catchphrases and whatnot?
I guess. And
that would make you Bobby Heenan.
I guess.
How about that?
I that's as good as anything. If there's no way to compare what I say now to the wit of Bobby Heenan back then.
No, because you're like an adult speaking spell. That's exactly right, JR. Like, we could just have like a board with pre-programmed Shivani-isms.
I haven't heard the term speak and spell in a long, long time.
You're welcome. I dust off shit every now and again.
Well, you sure do, man.
So opening this card, by the way, you just saw Ultimo Dragon come to the ring, and buddy, he had every belt under the sun.
Yeah.
WCW Cruiserweight title and 8 other titles in the J Crown, which is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight, the NWA Junior Heavyweight, the Great Britain Junior Heavyweight, the WWA Junior Heavyweight, the UWA Light Heavyweight, the NWA Welterweight, the WWF Light Heavyweight, and the War International Junior Heavyweight, aka the J Crown.
Good God.
And here's Dean Malenko. He is our Intercontinental or Cruiserweight champion, rather.
Yeah.
Could have been an Intercontinental champion, by God. And two of my all-time favorite performers. This is almost a forgotten great match.
Yeah.
I remember watching this one and being so fired up to see it. It gets 4.5 stars. Meltzer would say it would be very hard to imagine a better technical pro wrestling match than this. So pay close attention to this. They're going to get plenty of time, 18.5 minutes. And listen, Tony Schiavone and I, we're going to tell jokes about our penises and the way our farts smell and all the great stuff that you expect from WHW. But we can't really make fun of this one, dude. 2 all-time great performers on the biggest show of the year, going out in the first match in front of a hot crowd to steal the show. And they check all the boxes, dude. It's really amazing.
You know what really bums me out when I watch this match, though? Something really bums me out. It's how Dean's health is today.
Yes.
Because his health is not good. He came. We had him on. Was it Starrcade? We had him on in Vegas when he was
in Chicago. Yeah.
In Chicago, okay. And no one had really talked about it, but he made the I don't know if it was an announcement, but he mentioned that he had Parkinson's.
Yes.
And he's also had a heart attack. He's got diabetes, and so he's had some serious health problems. But he's still a part of AEW backstage, and they always make sure that he's of the big matches that when you see like Moxley or Danielson or one of those main events, big main events, Dean's always the coach for it. And one of the reasons that they have Dean as the coach for it, those fans are going nuts right now. What is just, because they're on TV. I guess it is. One of the reasons they make Dean as a coach is he doesn't put up with any bullshit,
right,
at all. And it's I'm glad to see him still working, but I'm very sad about these health problems that he's had these days.
Well, go back and relive some of the great times here. Meltzer would say this was a nearly perfectly flawless worked match, starting with good kicking by Dragon and mat wrestling by both. I mean, this is, a lot of times everybody talks about, what are the Steiners doing? What is the NWO doing? What's Hogan doing? What's Piper doing? I get all that. But this is really, if you're a big time wrestling fan and you're looking for action, it's hard to beat a match like this. Dean Malenko and Ultimo Dragon. And by the way, the hits keep on coming. Later on this same card, we got Jushin Liger and Rey Mysterio.
Yikes.
Right, this feels like a freaking dream match, dream card, dream pay-per-view, but it really happened, and unbelievably, it happened 26 years ago.
Wow. Jushin Liger and
Rey Mysterio coming up.
And Dean Malenko and Ultimo Dragon, and wow.
It's no wonder the fans loved it. This won the best match poll. It got 89 votes. Second place was Jushin Liger and Rey Mysterio, followed by Hogan and Piper, and then Benoit and Jarrett. Overall, 86.4% thumbs up from the readers of the Wrestling Observer, 7.8% thumbs down only 5.8% thumbs in the middle. Of all the Starrcades that you guys did in Nashville, is this maybe the most successful one in your mind? I mean, clearly financially it was, but 94 was the boogeyman or the Zodiac man, the booty man.
Okay.
Yes. No, he turned his back on Hulk Hogan. So that was the main event of 94.
Yeah. That was not planned.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
95 was a lot better. You know, we had a 3-way match and Ric Flair would win the world title, and you had other big talent in there like Sting and Savage. But still, the NWO, man, it wasn't just about the main event. Because listen, the Hogan Roddy Piper match kind of just is what it is. But it is a great story. But the undercard, it just feels like everything got better in 96. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 96 was a great year for us. 96 was, and I know 97 was Sting, the Crow, and all that. But to me, 96 was our best year.
Yeah.
Because, well, the advent of the NWO, Hulk Hogan turning, and how that popped things for us. You obviously see the cruiserweights, the advent of the cruiserweights. We were doing TV at Disney. It was a wonderful time for us. To me, it was our best year. And this was our best Starrcade.
Super fun show. Of course, we know Starrcade 1997, a year later, is what everybody's really going to gravitate to and be talking about as the biggest WCW pay-per-view of all time. And I can't believe this is real, Tony. You may not even know this.
Okay.
We have found Nick Patrick.
Where was he?
Hiding, waiting on our phone call. And he is going to join me in absolutely roasting Eric Bischoff on the exact 25th anniversary of Starrcade 1997. So as you're listening to this, 1 week from today will be December 28th. And right after AEW Dynamite at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, rush to adfreeshows.com, and we will revisit the main event of Starrcade 1997 and discuss what happened before, during, and after the match, including a watch along, where we get the actual testimony from Nick Patrick of what really happened. And there's been a lot of discussion over the years, Tony, that the original plan, I think everybody agrees this was the idea, is we needed to show a heel referee screw the babyface, much like Bret Hart had happen in Montreal a month prior at the screw job in Survivor Series. So we needed Nick Patrick to do a fast count, and it didn't happen. We got a regular speed count.
We did.
So it sort of neutered Bret Hart's debut, made WCW and Sting look foolish, made it look like Hogan was the sympathetic babyface.
Yeah.
And the rumor is Patrick was told by Bischoff do a fast count. But the rumor is that Hulk Hogan said, "Brother, I'm really the boss. So that doesn't work for me, brother."
Right.
Count it regular. So we're going to find out what really happened with Eric Bischoff and Nick Patrick next Wednesday, December 28th, live. You can join us and ask questions at adfreeshows.com and be a part of, one of the biggest discussions about the biggest WCW pay-per-view of all time at adfreeshows.com, Wednesday, December 28th, right after AEW Dynamite. So don't you dare miss a minute of Dynamite, but once it's over, plop down in front of that computer, adfreeshows.com. Here we go.
What does, I think I know what Nick Patrick said, that Hogan got to Nick Patrick right before he went out. But what is there a discrepancy, or the two men have different opinions on this?
Well, they've never spoken.
Okay. Cause you said he's going to roast Eric. So I didn't.
Well, listen, it is without question our most discussed moment in the history of our podcast, 83 weeks, me yelling at Eric Bischoff about Sting not being tan, and that being his rationale for changing the finish or it not being a clean finish or what have you.
Yeah.
And we beat it up and examined it from every possible angle. And then I just flipped out on him. So people really gravitate to that moment. And I'm not saying I'm going to yell at him again, but this time I'm bringing back up. Nick Patrick's going to share from his perspective what really happened. And well, let's just say this: you never know who's going to show up at these sort of things. So,
okay,
Wednesday the 28th, right after AEW Dynamite, adfreeshows.com.
Wow, that's pretty freaking cool. It's isn't it? I guess I say, and I said this in my comic book, that was the moment I thought that WCW went downhill. That moment was the beginning of the end for WCW. And I say that because as I remember it on my end, I knew it was fucking wrong.
Right.
And I knew that we had fucked the crowd over. Because everybody thought Sting was going to win. And Sting should have won clean. And we fucked the crowd over. And when you fuck the crowd over is when you start to lose your fan base. And
so in your opinion, we shouldn't fuck the crowd.
Right.
But they should hit themselves in the head with hammers.
Right.
Okay.
Self-inflicted is fine.
If they fuck themselves, that's fine.
That's
but
right.
we can't be any part of the fuckery.
That's right.
Got it.
Right.
I'm learning.
I love you are a master at a lot of things.
I appreciate saying that.
Taking my words and jumbling them up and put him and make them sound worse than they were is probably one of your best talents.
You started this program by saying, I wish our listeners would hit themselves in the head with a goddamn tack hammer.
Yes, boom.
I didn't say that. You did.
Okay. For those of you who have yet to hit yourself in the head with a tack hammer, I hope you're enjoying this match because it's damn good. And you know what this tells me? It tells me something that I've often known about wrestling, and I still know about it today. Even though there are a lot of people out there, a lot of fans out there who will go, man, I need to see a tope suicida. I need to see guys go through a table. I need to see a top rope hurricane rana. A good mat wrestling done right is great, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I know we like that acrobatic stuff. I get that, and I do too. It's exciting.
But it's part of it. It can't be the only thing.
Right. But this where he's pulling on the leg here of Ultimo Dragon and goes back to the leg again after he pulls him back, after he pulls him away from the ropes is good stuff.
I would go so far as to say, good shit, pal.
Good shit, pal. Very good.
Hey, let me ask you this. When we're talking about what we enjoy in wrestling these days.
Yeah.
What is your biggest pet peeve in wrestling right now?
My biggest pet peeve as far as what you see in the ring?
Something that happens a lot in wrestling right now that you wish did not. Whatever that means to you.
Wow. That's pretty tough that's pretty tough. Because it's something I would have to think about.
Well, while you think about it, and let's just keep that on theme.
Okay.
Actually, matter of fact, we want to hear from you. Maybe you've got an idea or something. It jogs your memory of what is a pet peeve. We want you to join the conversation online at hashtag WHW pet peeves and tell us some things that you wish were different about modern wrestling.
Okay.
Something that you miss, something that you wish was different. Hashtag WHW pet peeves is what we want to use there. Maybe by the end of the show, Tony will have identified a few. By the way, this show we're watching, Starrcade 96, sold out weeks in advance. It drew 9,030 fans. 8,327 of them were paying 113 grand is all. Now, I just want to remind everybody, we had this show designated for Nashville before we knew how hot WCW was going to get with the NWO. We had pricing in place before we knew just how crazy the response was going to be. The days of us having sellouts for 113 grand in WCW are over. It ends as 1996 ends. In 1997, man, we start to get into another stratosphere. This is the last of 3 Starrcades we would see in Nashville. After this, we're going to Washington, D.C., man, the MCI Center. And listen, that's evident. I mean, just even in the notes here in the Observer, scalpers were charging $200 a ticket for this show which is unheard of for WCW shows. I mean, this is the same company that, you know, we would give Flapjack Winos free front row seats. We just need warm bodies here to be conscious and awake. And now people are paying $200 on the secondary market 26 years ago. That's a big deal. And by the way, merchandise for this show was over 60 grand. 58% of that was NWO merch. So clearly, when more than half of your take is with your new angle, this is the hottest angle in all of wrestling.
See the fans pop on that?
Big time pop for a relatively tame move.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it had snap and it had some impact.
Yeah. You know what? I wouldn't call it a pet peeve of mine, but there was something that happened right there that I really liked.
What was that?
Ultimo Dragon did one of those handsprings.
Yes.
Do a back elbow.
Yes.
And Malenko moved out of the way.
Yeah.
You see it today a lot of in women's wrestling a lot. They'll do the handspring and they'll go spring, bing, 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 bing. And then in reality, a person would have moved by then.
Yes, I agree.
So Dean Malenko makes it. Look at that tombstone pile driver.
Look at the crowd pop on that tombstone.
Yeah.
Dude, the reversal of the tombstone and the big pop, and that still doesn't get it. Man, the fans are into it.
Yeah, they
and
are.
Again, guys, we all know now that these are some of the best wrestlers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, poor Scott Dickinson got his hashtag titty sweat going. Seriously, right underneath each of his teats, you see the sweat stains. Should have told him about the old undershirt Jones back in the day. Anyway, these are not necessarily the biggest stars on the program, but man, they're winning the crowd over with their performance. This is what it's all about.
Right.
Oh, man. I mean, that's not something you saw a lot of guys do. Double underhook power bomb and another kick out. The fans are just living and dying. They got them here, buddy. If you're going to watch one match on this whole show, make it this one. This is the era where Dave Meltzer was allergic to 5-star ratings. He just didn't give them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just a fact. I mean, earlier this year, Will Ospreay got more 5 stars in 1 week than Kurt Angle did in his entire career. But in this era, he gave this one 4.5 stars. If this was on Wednesday, you know, in 2022, it would have got 6 stars. Go out of your way to see it. I can't recommend it enough. I'm not saying that to be funny. This is a badass match you're watching here, Tony.
Why do you think Meltzer gets a lot of 5 stars now?
I don't know. I think, here's the other thing too. It's his opinion. So maybe he's just enjoying it more. He enjoys the present. I mean, it's clear to me that if he enjoys the presentation of a company or an organization, he's more likely to give that company or organization favorable ratings.
Yeah.
He enjoys AEW. He enjoys New Japan. So he's going to give them more 5-star ratings than he sees somewhere else. I just think, opinion is opinion. So we can say, well, he should give an objective view. Well, then that wouldn't be his opinion, bro. There ain't nothing objective about what he likes. Let's take an appraisal, for instance, on your house. It's objective how many bedrooms and baths and how many square feet and all that. Mm-hmm. But it's like some dude's opinion, what it's worth. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're talking about here is Dave's opinion. And man, we're in a high risk area here as we see Dean Malenko and Ultimo Dragon getting up to the top rope here. What a beautiful moonsault Ultimo had.
Yeah, he was so smooth. And look at Dean get up and breathe heavily. It's as a Texas.
Here we go.
Yeah. He puts it on, picked him up, and just fans are. Oh.
Sonny Ono's up there as a distraction. Dean's gonna break the hold, and we're back to it with more action here. Oh, inside cradle.
Oh man, good false finish.
Fantastic false finish.
Yeah. Yeah, because right there you're thinking, oh, shit.
He got it. He stole one.
Right.
By the way, this is actually the second match this crowd has seen. To get them primed up for this one, there was a dark match with Mascarita Sagrada, who is a Mexican mini, teaming with Octagoncito to take on Estrada and Peratita Morgan. Screwed both of those up. Either way, the point is, we had some Mexican minis out there for a little little person lucha match, little lucha action.
Really? God almighty, I never remember that at all.
Well, because you weren't out there. It was a dark match. You were in the back talking in the makeup chair saying, Kimberly, you look wonderful. Look at you, Kimberly.
That would have been.
Does it hurt? Did it hurt when you fell down from heaven, you fucking angel?
Look at this.
Standing switch. Oh, double underhook suplex with a bridge.
Wow.
How about it? Ultimo Dragon, after all that, looked like Dean Malenko had it won. The crowd is not with it. They are disappointed. They saw a great match. Everybody's on their feet. But, man, they were pulling for Ultimo, or for Dean Malenko here.
Right.
But, again, if we're doing some sort of unification, it does make more sense to give one more belt to Ultimo, because, Jesus, after the J Crown, what the fuck's one more? And on some level, it's got to be a real hassle. We hear stories from wrestlers all the time who think it's a hassle being champion, just going through TSA with a belt.
Yeah.
I realized back then they didn't have to run everything through a scanner like they do now. But can you imagine if they did?
Yeah.
Ultimo would have to pack. I mean, it would be such a hassle to get 38 belts through.
Yeah, because those belts were, they're showing some replays here. Those belts were obviously many different promotions. You know, today AEW belts stay on the truck.
Yes.
So you don't have to take your belts with you anymore. But you used to have to take your belts because you're the champion, man. That's your belt. That's your responsibility. And then again, I guess back in the day, and I'm sure Flair's talked about this, as the world champion, you had to put a deposit on that belt, didn't you?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we need to take a break here, Tony. I'm at 25:05, and I'm going to pause it when we get to 10. When we get to 25:10, and bam, there it is.
Yep.
I'm taking this time out right now. Talk about your balls.
Oh, baby.
Hey, fellas, this episode of What Happened When is brought to you by your favorite producers of the world's best ball trimmers, Manscaped. The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming are leaving 2022 with brand new products. The Preserve Cologne and the Preserve Body Wash. 2023 is the year to up your hygiene game and smell amazing. And Manscaped wants to help you with this special offer. Use the code WHW for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Take the leap into the new year and join the 7 million men who already trust their scrotum with Manscaped. Tony, what was the highlight for you of 2022, and what are you looking forward to the most in 2023?
I think the highlight for me for 2022 is me using the lawnmower for the first time.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
After all these years, you finally got after that rascal?
Yeah, I finally did.
And did you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it now, and things are kind of smooth down there. Now, I've always been an advocate of their products,
right?
And I love the crop mop, the crop preserver, the crop reviver. Nothing like spraying that on your balls.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know what? I've got this lawnmower 4.0.
Yep.
And I might as well give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I did. It's, you know, to quote JR, they don't look like the coconuts in the produce department anymore.
Well, it's because Manscaped's engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer, focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Got a 4000K LED light on this motherfucker, y'all. Talking about the Lawnmower 4.0. This new year, shave the loose pines off your wood with the best tool for the job.
Yeah, baby.
A Lawnmower 4.0. Maybe you're having trouble dealing with the wild weeds in your nose and ears. Well, that's okay. The Weed Whacker can step your game up. Maybe you're thinking about confidence in 2023. You know what you need to do? Smell like $1 million. What about that brand new Preserve Body Wash and Preserve Cologne? Talk about feeling clean. This Preserve Body Wash solves all three: cleaning good, smelling good, feeling good. It's the perfect addition to your daily grooming routine. It's got a little light woodsy scent. It's infused with aloe vera and sea salt. And the cologne, man, more of the same. Light, woodsy scent. It's going to answer your call of the wild. By the way, it's cruelty-free, it's dye-free, it's paraben-free, it's vegan. You know we're like taking care of business and smelling good. Why not use the code WHW? Get your ass 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Are you ready to jump in and join me with Manscaped? Come on, get 20% off and free shipping with the code WHW at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use that code WHW. Happy New Year's to your balls, motherfuckers. And with that in mind, let's get back into the program. We got the women about to take center stage here. I'm at 25-10 in 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay, from Tokyo, Japan, Akira Hokuto. We welcome to our
How about that presentation, man? Well, how would you describe this entrance with that pandemic mask before it was in fashion?
That's something out of like a science fiction movie, I guess.
I love it, especially with the hair. She needs
Yeah.
a little Manscaped on that head.
Yeah.
That's what your balls looked like last November.
Yeah, and that's
Same color and everything.
and that's what women would wear, and that before I started using the products on my balls.
Yeah, but the mask, because you had those notoriously stinky nuts, right?
Stinky nuts, terrible.
Yeah, stinky nut Shivani was kind of the move back in the day.
Give me some Medusa. Give me some Medusa, please.
I think this is the episode where she's, or the era where she still got inflatable devices.
Yes, she does. And buddy, she wore them well.
Yeah, she looks like a star.
Yes, she does. Look at that hair, kind of. It just she didn't have her hair really, combed. It just kind of like laying there and just.
She seems calm and cocky and confident here. This is a fun Medusa.
Fun Medusa. I'm sorry, I don't know this, but who was the guy that walked out with Hokuto? Akira Hokuto.
She came to the ring with Kensuke Sasaki, her husband, and they were known for making very loud, passionate love.
Okay, well, I remember Kensuke Sasaki. I think he was at the Japan Super Show that we did in '91.
Yes.
Yeah. I think he and didn't he? Was it Hase and Sasaki against the Steiners? I believe. I'm doing that by memory in that Super Show tag match. So anyway,
they got married October 1st, 1995. I think they have 2 sons together now.
Yikes! I don't think you can work a hair bill that we just saw. We've just seen 2 of them. I don't think you can work it, and we've just seen Sonny Ono twice. Holy shit! Okay, here we go.
Have you heard the story of Akira Hokuto and Sasaki having sex yet in the Observer? Because Dave's written about it at least a dozen times.
No, I know when you said their sex was very loud, I had a feeling there were stories that you were going to relate to us.
Look at that right there, hanging her in the corner. I love that.
Uh-huh.
That's good stuff, dude.
Yes.
Anyway, as Dave would say, when they first hooked up, they began to do what young people do. And apparently it became very noisy, and there were very thin walls in the hotel, and everyone was talking about all the noises they heard. So apparently they were really selling for each other.
Oh, well, that's
Putting
good.
Each other over, if you will.
That's good. That means you're enjoying the match you're in.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. But you know how guys are. They enjoy any match they're in.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all like to get put over. I was just telling my wife the other day how much I enjoy getting put over, and she let me call some spots. It was great. Every now and again, I'd think we were getting close to going home too soon. I'd have to slow down, grab a hold, work a body part.
Yeah.
Cut the ring in half.
Did you ever say, time out, and then your wife would say, there's no time out in professional wrestling?
Well, I think what I would do is I would call the dog Ginger in, and I'd say I'd pretend she was the referee.
No, stop.
And I'd say, check her pockets. Check her pockets. She's cheating. Check her pockets. She pulled the hair. Or I did. One of us did. Check her pockets.
There's
Foreign
gotta be
object in there.
Foreign object in there. Yes. Hey, these girls are putting out a pretty good match for us.
Hey, man, it is a good match. It only gets a star and a quarter here. By the way, this is to decide the first ever WCW Women's Champion.
Okay. It got a star and a quarter for one of the main reasons was it was on after the Malenko match. And nothing is going to satisfy Dave Meltzer after that match. So
Lee Marshall's doing commentary here, by the way, and he refers to Akira as Akita, which is a Russian dog.
Okay. Can we sample a little bit of it? Because I love Lee.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
NWO shirt. Hokuto got a good game plan. Let's start with that. You know, Nick Patrick in the way, sure, but she's really got a good game plan, and Medusa's in a bad way right now.
Well, you can't be surprised, Tree. First of all, Hokuto has her husband, Kensuke Sasaki, and also Sonny Ono, where Medusa walked out as a solo.
And just remember last year when WCW thwarted off the efforts of New Japan Pro Wrestling, already from Japan, the Ultimo Dragon has secured a title, and right now, Hokuto could secure a title. So as we start Starrcade, New Japan Pro Wrestling will be getting right back at us here.
Well, that's good, Tony. That's good.
So what do you think? For announcement.
I love Lee's voice. I would give anything to have had a voice like that. And I often thought that had Lee been better coached in what to say, he would have been one of the best announcers ever. But he was never coached. And I think he suffered because of that. But look, hey, Lee made more money in the announcing business than I ever will. When you are the voice of Tony the Tiger, you make
You don't know that.
Oh, yeah, dude. You make millions a year.
Buddy, that's not necessarily fair. Like, look at all the untold money that's still ahead of you. It's just buckets of cash.
Yeah. No. You may say something like that, but I ain't got many more years left in this business.
Well,
so
you fucking watch your mouth.
No, I don't. I don't have. Oh, dude, it's a young man's business, and at the age of 65, I realized it. It's a young man's business.
What was the moment where that first hit you? I'm getting you're Danny Glover. I'm too old for this shit.
My 65th birthday.
Really? That did it.
When I've told the story before. In my the day I turned 40, 25 years ago, the day I've turned 40, I needed glasses that day.
Right.
It was like, what the fuck? I woke up that day and I would try to read something. And I'm like, man, this is freaking out of focus. So the day I turned 65,
I
just woke up tired. And I've been tired ever since then. I'm telling you, I have been tired. I even went and checked with my doctor about my testosterone level, which he said, hey, it's good. You're fine. And I even use a CPAP machine. And you're supposed to get more energy by using a CPAP machine. I don't know. I'm just tired. So I just think that life is on the way downhill right now. Speaking of on the way downhill, we're going to see a superplex, aren't we?
We are.
Whoa.
Now, Medusa wasn't standing on the top rope. She was on the second rope, but still, it was mightily impressive.
Yeah.
Big bump. So let me ask you this. Are you still looking at, are you still trying things to sort of get those energy levels up?
I take a lot of supplements. I mean, there's some supplements sponsors that we have here that I try their supplements. They've helped out.
Let me ask you this. What about Selsun Blue? Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I'm familiar with Selsun Blue, but that's
how it has like a menthol type feeling for your scalp?
Yeah,
What I want to recommend is you put just a little bit on 2 fingers, just like this, Tony, and then you rub it around your asshole while you're in the shower.
Yeah, boy,
that will put a step in your pep. And listen, or pep in your step. And if you're not sure if that doesn't last all day long, when I was a kid, every mom in the South, we used to have Vicks Vapo Rub.
Yes.
Mom would rub it on your lip or on your chest, whatever.
Yeah.
You take just a little bit of that and you just rub it on that asshole, buddy.
Yeah.
You will be strutting around the office all day long.
Yeah.
Vicks Vapo Rub in the asshole.
Yeah.
Well, the lovemaking can commence now because Akira Hokuto is the first ever women's WCW champion. And of course, that belt is, she still got it with her over in Japan because WCW didn't do fuck all with it.
Wow.
There you see the replay of the big suplex. I'm sure you love that view of Medusa.
Yep. That was great.
A different one there.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the debut. She wins it. She holds it 168 days before they say, no, it's vacated. That happens June 15th, 1997. Think about that, man. 6 months later, it didn't even exist.
Why did Eric say, fuck it?
Well, because the NWO was hot as shit and this wasn't drawing and there wasn't a bunch of opponents for Medusa. Like women's wrestling is not what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
That's what I meant.
I know what you meant. Yeah. It just, I get it.
I think we got a Piper interview coming up here.
Oh, no, we got DDP.
Let's track this.
Really made a difference. Blowing smoke in our people's faces. WCWWrestling.com is the address on the internet. There you see the address bringing you live commentary tonight. WCW Wrestling. What a night.
Boy, the infancy of the internet, man, still
It's something else, is it?
Yeah, it's crazy to think what it used to be and obviously what it became. And here's Mean Gene. Let's take a listen.
In events, some are calling it the match of the decade. I've got to say it is the match of the century. From the NWO, Hulk Hogan will be facing my guest at this time in the role of challenger. He's done that many times over the years when I've covered him. Roddy Piper, welcome to Music City, USA. It seems like we get together traditionally at this time of the year, one reason or another, but tonight, I guess much more important. Since you arrived at Halloween Havoc, you have made your intentions perfectly clear. You're standing on your own ground, not for World Championship Wrestling, but for Roddy Piper, and Hogan has really done it this time. He has stirred up a hornet's nest.
I gotta tell you, Music City, USA. I sing like a bird, like a vulture. There are people telling me, oh, you're gonna kick Hogan's butt. It's gonna be no problem. Are you kidding? He's 6'7", 270 pounds. I'm a midget. Sky Low, me right there, baby. This is with Hogan gonna be a walk in the park. Jurassic Park, honey. Have you seen this guy? Have you seen what he's thinking? I have. I don't listen to him. I just look at him. I watch that big dumb mug. He's perfectly suntanned. I watched him come in the limousine, the long Volkswagen, and here he comes, and here it is, the match of the icons. Not wound up yet, but I'm getting there. There's plenty, folks, of icons. Thing that's been kind of POing me is like, we are the only icons ever in the whole history of the sport of professional wrestling. There's a man out there dead and bought from 77 to the rest of the time was in Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. There's the guy Strangler Lewis. Couple of folks heard of him. Guy Gorgeous George. Couple of folks heard of him. And then there's this big mountain, Hogan. You know, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be something. I said, I want to be, give me an instrument. They gave me the bagpipes and a dress. I'm the one that can call a dress. You know why? Because I'm tough enough to. I went with that. What am I going to do? A piano? Hard to carry in a parade, brother. Hard to carry. My whole life has been hard. 6 kids I've had to feed. My whole life has been hard. I left home when I was 13. You think I'm going to give up? Not a chance. Of course, it's the season tidings. That was tidings in reverse. And they say it's better to give than receive. No, this will not be a problem. You see, if you take Hogan's ego, did I say Hogan's ego? What's your name? Roseanne Barr's bra cup, put it on his head. It's a yarmulke. See you later.
Wait a minute, Roddy, don't go away. I've got to ask you this in closing. What about the hip? Let's get you back to the ring.
Piper hopped out of there, and we're going to take a break at 39:40. We're going to get there, and what an interview, an all-time classic Roddy Piper interview. I'm at 39:40. Hopefully you are too, and we're going to take this time out to remind you about something that old Piper probably wishes he had back then. Talking about AG1. I use it literally every single day. I have since the start of the pandemic. Long before they were a sponsor here on the program, my wife said, "Hey, honey, we're going to start taking athletic greens." And I said, I ain't doing it unless it tastes good. And she says, it does. And you'll feel better. And it's going to optimize your immune system. And it worked. And now I'm happy to report with one. That's right. One delicious scoop of AG1. You're absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your focus, your recovery, your aging, all of the things. It's also lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto or paleo or vegan or dairy free, even gluten free. Less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, no artificial anything, and it still tastes good. It's also going to support better sleep quality and recovery. It's going to support mental clarity and alertness. We look at it as almost like an all-in-one nutritional insurance, and it's one that's been well reviewed. Over 7,000 5-star reviews for Athletic Greens. Tony and I think it's time for you to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. So to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/WHW. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/WHW to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Tony, are you rocking AG1 on the reg?
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, I can say this. Since I've been taking AG1, I haven't been sick.
Wow.
Not at all. Usually each and every winter I get a cold or flu symptoms or something like that, sore throat. Right. It starts with a sore throat with me the night before, and I wake up stuffy, and I haven't had it at all. So my immune system is at its peak thanks to AG1.
Let me recommend this too. I know we're supposed to just do 1 scoop in a cup of water every day.
Yeah.
But I think you and I, next time we get together, we should do something bonus, something special. Are you familiar with a keg stand?
A keg stand? I'm not.
Yeah. Well, a keg stand is where, let's say there's a keg of beer here and it's in a trash can filled with ice. And we're going to put the hose and the tap in our mouth. And then our friends are going to lift our legs in the air as we hold ourselves on the trash can. We're going to be upside down consuming our beer directly from the tap. It's called a keg stand.
God.
Well, I want to do that with Tony Schiavone and a cup of water with 1 scoop of Athletic Greens. Stir it up.
Yeah.
Insert the funnel into Tony's rectum. Pour the AG1 in.
Yeah.
Man, you're going to feel good coming and going. Thanks to Athletic Greens.
I'm for it.
Yeah. Buddy, mark it down. When we get together for the low-key Big Hog Weekend in 2023, we can't say when or where yet, but it's coming. Tony Schiavone's going ass over tea kettle, insert the AG1. Good for you. Absorb them.
Yeah, that's suppositories are good.
I suppose they are. 39 minutes and 40 seconds in. We want to at least listen to the introduction here because we're about to see the greatest high flyer of the late 80s, Jushin Thunder Liger, take on the greatest high flyer of the mid 90s, Rey Mysterio Jr. This is the first time they've ever met.
Wow.
And who better to join you in the booth than Mike Tenay? And by the way, 10 out of 10 promo from Roddy Piper. Can we agree on that before we press play?
Oh my God. When he said you can't carry a piano on your back in a parade. Oh my God.
It's fantastic. And then hopping off with the hip. My God.
Then looked at Gene and said, I'm just getting wound up.
Yeah, not quite there yet, but I'm getting ready. We're getting
yes.
there.
Yeah, that
Here
was.
we go. In 3, 2, 1.
I've never seen him wound up that tight, Mike, today. Have you?
Never, and I've been following this man's career from the outset, and Roddy Piper is wound up sitting on ready for Hulk Hogan tonight at Starrcade.
You know something, Mike? By the time he walks to the ring tonight, he'll be wound up. He'll be wound up tighter than a cheap watch. Yeah, and I'll tell you something else, guys. You know, Hogan is the master of his...
All right, so they're still filibustering about Hogan, but we're going to talk about the importance of this because, again, guys, this is before the internet is what it is now. We don't have all these streaming services. It's not as news as it's not widely spread in wrestling yet. People are still getting newsletters in the mail, still very much underground. But for those who know, man, these are two of the greatest professional wrestlers, innovators of the last 20 years, maybe of all time. And now they're going to face off here for the very first time.
Here will face Jushin Thunder Liger. What an amazing story this Jushin Thunder Liger is, Mike, today.
Well, Tony, you're right. The winner of this match, in my opinion, is on a collision course with obviously the Ultimo Dragon, who unified and won the 9-belt bout that opened tonight's Starrcade. And arguably, the 4 men that we've seen tonight are the best in the world today in the cruiserweight ranks.
So as a reminder, Jushin Liger is overcoming a brain tumor. I mean, that's not something that we talk about a lot here, but he's overcoming it. And Meltzer would say the size difference between the two was amazing, particularly considering Liger by reputation as a tiny wrestler, although he looked to weigh at least 220. Mysterio Jr. needs to work with men close to his own size, or the visual credibility aspect takes the match down a peg. Disagree. Both worked hard, and what they did was excellent. There was something missing with Liger being mainly a mat wrestler these days due to injuries, and Mysterio mainly being a flyer. It was acknowledged this was their first meeting, except for working about 30 seconds in an 8-man tag match over the summer. And of course, we're in for a real treat here. Easy for me to say. Meltzer liked it and gave it 3 3/4 stars.
Wow.
It was the second best match on the card behind only Ultimo and Dean Malenko, which, as we said at the top of the program, one of the best matches you could ever see.
You know, I was thinking about what Excalibur uses a lot of time as a Liger bomb.
Yes.
And I had looked up Liger bomb, and I was thinking in my mind, and I've never really talked to him about this. What is the difference between a power bomb and a Liger bomb?
Right.
And I'm still not sure. I do know that Liger bomb was something I think used in anime in Japan.
No, it's from what he would do is he would take a power bomb and run with it.
Got it.
Power bomb in place is one thing, but a running power bomb became a Liger bomb.
Okay. But there is also in anime something called a Liger bomb. So I didn't know if the name came from that or not. It could have. But so like a running power bomb. Gotcha.
I mean, just more movement than a normal. I mean, because Liger would run with them, but he would also do some where they were sort of in place, almost like a Batista bomb. But it feels like there's more movement than a traditional.
Gotcha.
I mean, I do mortgages. What the fuck do I know?
Yeah. Well, you're a great observer of this sport.
I'll listen to you.
Have you also noticed that in the first 3 matches we've had someone from Japan?
Yeah, man. Listen,
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
And if you even go back to the dark match again, let's just remind everybody: the dark match was Mexican minis, then Ultimo Dragon and Dean Malenko, and then Akira Hokuto and Medusa.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper interview, and now Liger and Mysterio.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody here. You got Mexico well represented. You got Japan well represented. You got Tampa on the map, thanks to Dean Malenko. There's a lot of really great stuff here.
Yeah.
My favorite era of WCW.
My favorite Starrcade, I think. We started. Let's see. The very next Starrcade would have been in Washington D.C. And then I think we had some Starrcades in did we had no we had
Starrcade
Halloween.
97, 98, 99, I think were all in at the MCI Center, I believe.
Okay. All right, you're right. Because it
2000 was as well.
Okay, because Halloween Havoc, The home of Halloween Havoc became Las
the
Vegas.
MGM Grand, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Right.
So 97, 98, 99, and 2000 are all the MCI Center. So this is the last one here in Nashville. We saved the best for last. 94, arguably the worst. I don't even know that it's really arguable. But 93 was the one in Charlotte with Flair and Vader, and that was fantastic.
That was fantastic. That's a memorable night.
Yes.
How about the fans here? I mean, like you said, it sold out in weeks, and the same place that you had Ric Flair's final match, same venue, right?
Yes.
Great, legendary wrestling venue. And I have it on good authority that the fans that you see here, the number of fans you see, the same number of those fans were backstage for Ric Flair's final match.
It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue.
That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. And speaking of Nashville, I was at and you're actually going to see it coming up this week. I was at Universal Studios and did an interview in the ring with Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, wow. How about that?
And I want to tell you, Jeff Jarrett, I was standing there waiting to go in the ring, and there was a fan standing up jeering at Jeff Jarrett.
Jeering, okay.
Jeering at Jarrett, okay?
Yep.
And the fan looked at me and he said, you got to give it to him. He still gets a reaction.
Yes, he does.
Damn if he didn't. He was, and it was a fun interview. It was great to be able to do an interview with him again. I got to spend a little bit more time with Jeff than I have in a long, long time, so it was a lot of fun to have him there.
I really like working with Jeff. He's been
what
a delight.
What a pro. What an absolute pro. And what a mind he has for the business.
Yes.
He really does.
He's plugged in, man. He's tuned in. He's paying attention. Yeah. And he loves it. Like, he will send me my wrestling news.
Yeah.
Like, he'll see stuff before I do and say, hey, did you see this?
Yeah. And again, shameless plug for our company, but a great hire. Really was.
Yes. Yes.
On many levels.
You guys have been making a lot of great hires recently.
Mm.
How about the I know we don't talk about current stuff. Action Andretti with the big win over Chris Jericho. I mean, you want to talk about a special moment. That was a great moment in wrestling.
Yeah, it was a great moment in wrestling. And to me, it just solidifies, again, as someone who works in wrestling, what a great team leader Chris Jericho is.
Agree.
Yeah. He is. I was talking about how great Jeff Jarrett is, and he is, but guys like Jarrett and Jericho, just great leaders. And
fill your locker room with them.
You damn right. You're damn right. Look at this. The bow and arrow, I do believe it's called.
Look at you knowing things.
How about that, man? I'm in the Excalibur school of making shit up.
Sounds like you had some Selsun Blue in your asshole today.
Where did you know what? This Selsun Blue in your asshole thing that you have discussed earlier.
Yeah.
You obviously have tried this, or you wouldn't be bringing it up.
Well, so here's what happened. I don't mind sharing. We're amongst friends.
Okay.
I find myself at someone else's home,
boy.
Using their bathroom to take a shower. Right? It's one of those deals where I'm spending time with somebody else, and I go to use their shower, and I see that they've already got body wash, shampoo, and conditioner, and all that stuff laid out. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to unpack my stuff. There's already stuff. I'll just use that stuff. Like, it looks like it's left for me.
Yeah.
But I've never used Selsun Blue before.
Yeah.
I just knew it was, shampoo, conditioner, whatever. So it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it goes in your hair.
Yeah.
And then what happened is, well, a little bit of it, wanders down the old back there.
Yeah, and then wanders all the way up.
And then you're like, hey, wait a minute. What's happening back there? And then you start to say, man, it's like a breath mint for the beehole. So
okay.
I was in.
All right. So a couple of things, and this is travel tips from Tony Schiavone.
Okay.
When you're visiting someone, never use what's in the bottles in there.
Well, I learned that the hard way there.
Yeah. Okay. You may think it's for you. Okay. But bring your own shit. And I never use when I travel and I go to a hotel, I never use the shampoo or the conditioner or the body wash in the hotels.
Well, I never use the stuff that's permanently mounted. I'm sure you've seen this in some of the hotels where it'll have like in the shower, there's like,
right.
Is that
was
did an angel just get her wings right there?
No, that was Britt Baker calling.
Okay. Sounded like this time of year, you never know, you know?
Yeah.
So I've seen the things that are mounted to the wall, you know, where it's like the wall of the shower. Here's a pump for shampoo, and here's a pump for conditioner, and here's a pump for body wash.
Right.
Now, I heard about these things called comedy condos. Are you in the loop on this? You know what that is?
Yeah.
We'll resume the show when you get done texting Britt Baker. It's
okay.
fine.
No, I just entered text. I'll call back. Okay. So
We just saw her number on camera.
Did we really?
No, I was just kidding.
Okay.
Are you in the loop on a comedy condo?
A comedy condo.
Yes.
It sounds no. Okay.
All right. So when a comedy club brings touring acts in, sometimes what they'll do is, in an effort to save money, instead of just getting them a hotel every time, they'll go buy a condo, and the payment on a condo is much cheaper than whatever it would be to rent hotels over and over and over again.
Okay, I got that.
So I found out that one of our friends, we'll call him, in the comedy world, tells me if you get stuck, that's the phrase he used. If you get stuck at a comedy condo, whatever you do, don't use the shampoo and conditioner that are mounted to the wall. And I said to myself, why would he say not to use that? Like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
And he laid out that apparently some of the funny men in America think the funniest part of the comedy condo is before you leave.
Yeah.
A little waka waka waka. They ejac in the bottles, Tony. They want you to put their cum in your shampoo in your hair. So they want you to rub their unfunny comedian jizz, massage it into your scalp with their regular shampoo.
Yeah.
So from that point forward, I was like, I'm not using the pumps anymore.
You know,
because I don't know how many of these sickos are firing off loads all over. You know, I don't want to do that.
That being said, I often thought the same thing.
Really? You're thinking somebody might have jizzed in that?
Yeah. When I see them and they are affixed to the side of the shower, you know, normally. And I will be in a shower and I'll look at those things and I'll say, how difficult would it be for someone to put a foreign object in there? And it looks like to me that it's almost impossible to do.
Really?
Yeah, it looks like they've got them affixed and they got those tops. I've taken those tops and say, can you unscrew these tops? And you really can't. So I think they got them locked. They got a locking device on them. Be that as it may, even though they seem to have a locking device on them, I ain't using them at all.
So you, as a rule of thumb, you do not want comedian jizz in your hair. Is that fair?
That's a good that's a fair statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to each his own, I guess. Well, what's Britt Baker up to?
I don't know. She just said, she sent a text back. She said, tell everyone I said hi.
Well, there you go.
So Britt Baker said hi. I don't know.
Little Britt Baker run in here on the program as we go 14 minutes and 16 seconds of this Jushin Liger Rey Mysterio match. I don't know why Meltzer didn't like this more. I think it's a really fun match so far.
Well, I think it's a fact that, again, this is 2 matches removed from just a tremendous match. And a lot of times, if you move this later on in the card, maybe you'll like it a lot more. I don't know.
I don't mean for this to sound the way it does because I'm a hillbilly from Alabama.
Yeah, you are.
Do you think the reason that they were so hot for the first one is there was a quote unquote American in the match? And now we've got a Japanese guy wrestling a Mexican guy. And as a result, they're just kind of sitting on their hands because they were in it when it was a Japanese guy versus an American guy.
Yeah, and it was the first match too. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Because at this point, you've seen Medusa get them things out.
Yo.
You've seen the little lucha, literally. You've seen an incredible match of the year candidate. I mean, you've seen a lot of stuff very early on. And you want to talk about a tall order. Coming up next is going to be Jeff Jarrett and Chris Benoit.
Whoa.
How do you follow all of this that you've seen so far, even with capable in-ring performers?
Yeah, it's and I've brought this up many times, even today when we have a pay-per-view card, there is consideration made on who's following whom. In other words, we'll look at a match and say, what do we put after this?
Right.
And there'll be a lot of wrestlers that'll say, oh, God, I don't want to follow that.
No, why would you? Yeah.
But you know what? Someone's got to follow it. Someone's got to, and unless it's the final match. And a lot of times, there's just a clean win for Jushin Liger.
Yeah, it is.
That kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Well, I mean, they had plenty of time. We're going to see it on the replay here, though.
Yeah, it just looked like, wouldn't like false finish. I don't know. It did.
So what happens is Mysterio goes for a springboard into a Frankensteiner off the top rope. Liger lands on his feet, hits a capo kick and a Liger bomb.
Okay.
We see the acai moonsault, which is obviously made famous by Ultimo Dragon, but Rey doing one of the most beautiful ones you could ever see there.
Yeah. Okay.
And this looks like the finish here.
Yeah.
See the way he jumps out with it?
Yep.
Goes to the seat, goes to a seat. That's maybe the difference between a traditional power bomb. And Tony, I think as we're winding down the replay, it's time for us to take a break. I'm going to do it at 56:25. And there it is. And of course, this break is brought to you by our friends at Chili Sleep. Actually, Sleep Me is the new name for Chili Sleep. And I've been rocking a Chili Sleep for as long as I can remember, sleeping better than ever. Just last night, I slept over 8 hours. No tossing, no turning, no fighting with the pillow, no fussing with the cover, no getting up to pee. It was perfect. And it was because I was at the right temperature. I had a crazy dream, Tony. You were there, and I was getting my back waxed.
Whoa.
I don't know why I was getting my back waxed. I've never had my back waxed. But you were cutting one-liners left and right. We were having a big time. And those dreams are brought to you by Sleep Me. You see, Sleep Me makes the coldest and most comfortable sleep systems available. They create the environment that meets the body's natural need for lower core temperatures. That's going to promote deeper, more restorative sleep. And Chili Sleep makes the Uller, the Cube, and the Dock Pro sleep system. They're water-based. They're temperature-controlled mattress toppers. They fit over your existing mattress to provide you your ideal sleep temperature. They're designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and give you the confidence and energy to power through your day. And they just launched something I can't wait to try. I've got the Uller, but they make a new Dock Pro sleep system. And it has two times more cold power than the other models. Whisper quiet. And it has a tubeless mattress pad design that allows for 5 times more cooling contact. You can even pair it with the new Sleep.me app for enhanced device control and sleep scheduling. Think of it like a smart thermostat for your bed. It's going to get cold when you want it to. It's going to warm up when you want it to. And it's done. Easy. I love mine. I know you love yours too, Tony. And I think we've got a special deal for our listeners.
Yes, we do. You are right, Sleepy Breath. Head over to sleep.me/WHW to learn more and save 25% off the purchase of any new Dock Pro, Cube, or Uller sleep system. This offer is available exclusively for What Happened When listeners and only for a limited time. That's sleep, sleep.me/WHW. Take advantage of our exclusive discounts and wake up refreshed every day.
Ooh, I like this music. I can keep this vibe going.
That's a good vibe.
Sleeping good, baby.
Sleep.me. Does Silva pick out this music?
/WHW. Yeah, he picks out some good stuff every now and again.
Now, yeah.
Every now and again.
More again. Yeah.
We ain't got to give him too much credit. Just enough.
Just enough to keep him working next week.
Just enough. We hate him, but we like him. Just enough. And on that note, I say we get back to the program, Tony. I'm looking at 56:25.
Yo, baby.
In 3, 2, 1, play.
It's going to be midgets on Nitro tomorrow night. 4 midgets from Mexico.
Yes. How about
They're
that?
going to be something.
And we'll bring you that live from Knoxville, Tennessee tomorrow night. Gentlemen, you're not going to find 3 better matches opening the pay-per-view than we've just had.
Oh, no. It's electric. The town is electric. The world is electric because it is right here in front of us, the fight of all fights tonight. Speaking of fights, speaking of love affairs, speaking of dragging somebody's laundry out into the street, this man and woman have done that. And they are electric. They are electric.
So we're talking about Chris Benoit and Nancy Sullivan, aka Woman, on their way to the ring here. Going to get a good match out of Jeff Jarrett here. 13 minutes and 48 seconds. Meltzer would say Benoit was up to his usual standards, and Jarrett hung with him. Look at the crowd, by the way. After sitting on their hands for Rey Mysterio and Jushin Liger, big response for the Horsemen.
Yeah.
Part of the Horsemen here with Benoit and Woman.
Yeah.
Meltzer would say it was interesting to see that Nashville and the support that Benoit had, if not as much or more fan support. The two worked a fast-paced, good match. At one point outside the ring, Woman distracted Jarrett, allowing Benoit to blindside him. The finish of the match would see Jarrett go for the figure 4, but Woman rakes his eyes. And at this point, Arn Anderson comes to ringside, walks past Woman and Benoit, and goes into Jarrett's corner. And then Conan and Hugh Morris come out in an attempt to kidnap Woman. During the melee, Woman kicks Morris low. Kevin Sullivan comes out. Conan gives Sullivan a wooden chair. He breaks it on Benoit. At around the same time, Anderson DDT'd Jarrett on the floor. And Anderson threw him in the ring. Jarrett rolled and ended with his arm on top of Benoit's body for the 3 count. Arn and Woman argued after the match, with Anderson telling Woman it was all her fault. Gene Okerlund then set to do an interview, but all concerned parties, from Sullivan to Anderson to Jarrett to Benoit and Woman, all walked past him without saying a word. 3.5 stars. So we're big on story here. It's very much the era where we're trying to see, is Jeff Jarrett going to be in the Horsemen? Is he not? Of course, this is his kayfabe hometown. I say kayfabe because he's really from Hendersonville, but whatever. Nashville's close enough. It's a suburb. We'll count it. So he's going to get a big response being the hometown boy. But Chris Benoit, man, he got a hero's welcome too. This is a match that starts with a lot of fanfare. Even if on paper you would think, well, bell to bell, some of the other guys are probably going to be quote unquote more exciting. But man, they're with this story. That's sort of WCW in 1996 in a nutshell, is it not?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Absolutely. You're exactly right, JR.
I feel like JR when you say it like that.
Yeah, I know. But you are. And, you know, it's, how do you, I know that back then when you saw Jeff Jarrett on TV, you went, oh God.
Human fast forward button.
Yeah, but man, what a performer. I listen, I know it's throwing a lot of love to Jeff Jarrett. By the way, which reminds me, is are there some podcasting feuds going on right now?
Really? What do you mean?
Just wondered. I did a on Top Guy. I did a Ask Tony Anything.
Oh yeah.
A couple of days ago, and they said, "So are you going to get into a podcasting feud with anyone?" And
You're kind of in one with me in perpetuity, are you not?
Well, always, but I'm talking about my podcast versus, let's say, Arn's podcast. In other words, apparently there's one going on between Bischoff and Flair right now.
That's not a podcast feud. That's a real life death match.
Okay. All right.
I don't want anything to do with that. I didn't.
Okay.
I mean, listen, the
All right.
internet believes that I'm trying to set up bullshit feuds and all that. Like,
Yeah,
that's
right.
not reality. Like,
Okay.
you know Ric Flair as well as anybody. And when Ric Flair says whatever Ric Flair is going to say, it just kind of, I mean, it is what it is.
Got you.
So he, I guess what happened is, this is the real deal now, since
Okay.
we're talking about it.
Deathmatch.
They have a
deal.
new documentary coming out on Peacock on December 26th called WOOOO Becoming Flair. And
Wow.
WWE spent a lot of money over the summer interviewing and shooting a lot of stuff. I was interviewed. It will not air. My wife was interviewed. She's in the teaser. A lot to unpack there. That might be a story you see about in the future.
Okay.
Either way, the point is, they went to a great expense to do this documentary, and Rick is really, really proud of it. Well, he got to see the screener of it before it was released.
Uh-huh.
And in the screener, Eric Bischoff said, in discussing the whole debacle of 1998,
yeah,
somebody needed to teach Ric Flair a lesson. Somebody needed to make an example out of Rick and show him that rules are rules. And I guess when Rick saw that, he got all kinds of fired up. And the next time we recorded, well, here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's sort of the backstory of what happened.
Okay. Whew. Man, I'm glad there's no real drama around me.
Oh, we can create some.
Oh, I know you can, but it'd be bullshit. Because I like everybody.
Well, that's not true.
I
can name 3 names right now, and you would say, fuck that guy.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to, but I know the names to say.
Okay.
And you know right away 2 of them I'm thinking of.
Yes, I do.
I like everybody. That's bullshit. You hate. I know a guy you hate. Shut up, Conrad. Don't say that name on this program. We're not talking about that asshole on here.
Oh, God.
Hey, so Lois doesn't listen to the show, right?
No.
She can't hear what you're saying right now, right?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't listen to the show. She doesn't watch wrestling. Even now that her son is in wrestling, she doesn't watch. No.
So here's my question.
Okay.
I mean,
oh boy,
what'd you get her for Christmas?
I got her a couple of things.
Well, let's talk about it. I'm looking for ideas for my wife.
Okay. I got her a. It's really going to sound stupid, okay? But
I'm ready.
It's what she wanted.
Okay.
I got her a remote lock for the back door.
So she can lock the door from her phone.
That's right.
Okay. I get you. So like a Wi-Fi lock.
Right. We got one for the front door. We got one for the side door, but there's a door, back door underneath the deck that goes to her sewing room. And a lot of times she'll go outside and come back in. She'll think, man, did I lock that door? And she's upstairs already now. And so
she didn't want to go back down for no reason.
Right. Because she has trouble getting up and down the stairs.
Right.
Yeah. So I got her that. That's about all I can talk about. But go ahead. Why?
Oh, all you can talk about. What does that mean?
Okay.
Give us some hints. Why can't you talk about that's what we want to know more now. Okay. I'm going to come back to the lock, but I want to know more about what you can't tell us about.
Okay, it's like
give us a tease.
One Christmas, I got her some jewelry.
Okay.
And then she said, you know what? I don't want any more jewelry. I've got enough. I don't want any more. And then this Christmas, she says, you know, there is some jewelry that I like. And I went, oh, really?
So she's getting some jewelry that you don't want to spill the beans on. That's the big gift.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
Let's talk about your locks. Let me ask you this. I'm not poking holes. I'm trying to understand.
Okay.
Let's say the Wi-Fi goes down at your house.
Yeah.
Let's say there's a Comcast outage in your area.
Okay.
Does that mean that the intruders can just walk in and fuck up your whole family because you can't lock the doors?
I guess they could. Or we'd have to walk down and lock it ourselves.
So you can override it manually, you're saying?
Yes, you can override.
I was just wondering if the internet blinks, does that mean, like, if I just cut the power to your house on the outside, can I just then ransack the motherfucker? I mean,
no,
I don't know. I've never had one.
No, I don't think so. You can't do it that way.
I don't have this type of strong money.
No, you could. Oh, yeah, you do, motherfucker. Don't get that. I don't have that Tony Schiavone money. Fuck.
Why are you mad at me? What did I do?
You pretty much own northern Alabama.
That's not entirely true.
It pretty much is. No, with these locks, I mean, obviously someone could hack into your system and get into
Man,
your
that
house.
would be so awesome. God damn, I can't wait to bring a nerd over and just start hacking your lock. I'm going to set a block up and just lock and unlock the fucking doors over and over, raise and lower the goddamn garage doors. She's going to go fucking bananas. You're going to get old school manual. I'll walk the goddamn steps, Tony. This is driving me crazy.
the funny line was that.
Tony's down, boys and girls. We lost Tony.
I can't wait to bring a nerd.
Oh gosh.
I can't wait to bring a nerd over. Fuck.
I can't wait to bring a nerd over. A new shirt available now.
Where you know, as you do, you just find them anywhere. Hey kid. Come with me. All right, sir. I'll be right there.
Hey, since we're talking about fun Christmas presents using the old hashtag Santa Tony,
oh,
let me ask you this, Tony. What was the best Christmas present you remember getting as a kid? Your favorite as a kid?
I got this football game when I was a kid called All Pro Live Action Football.
Okay.
It was on a big vinyl mat that when you open it up could cover a small room. That's how big it was. The running back was on a wind-up thing, and you put the lineman down on this little rack, and you would wind up this guy and put the football in his arm and take off, and the defense had linebackers on these little wheels, these little wagons, and you would throw them at the guy and try to tackle him. That was the greatest Christmas gift ever. So great that when I grew up and realized that I did not have it anymore, I found it on eBay.
You bought it?
And I bought it. And I've got it at the house, wrapped up still in what they sent it to me in a bubble wrap. So
how about that?
Yeah, it's like one of my prized possessions. It really is. My favorite of all time. So why you don't ask questions without a reason?
No, I was just wanting to get, some conversation about your best present. Like, what do you think the best present one of your kids has given you over the years is? Is there one that stands out where it was like, oh man, I didn't see that. That touched me. Like a sentimental.
Yeah. Okay. I've got it on. If you're watching the video version, this Chris gave me this hoodie with Bug's picture on it.
That's pretty fun.
That really touched me because it's one of those things, Chris Schiavone, as you know, as all my kids can be a pain in the ass.
Really quick wit.
Yeah. Oh boy. Whew.
Yeah.
He can to the point to where I've told you this many times. I've told him, you need to settle down with mom. Your jokes and your wit sometimes hits home with her because he's relentless. And anyway, but we used to have with this family, which has gotten quite large, with all the grandkids and all the different. So we got, I got 5 kids. 3 of them have spouses. That's 8, and 6 grandkids. That's 14 people, plus me and Lois. That's 16 people in our close knit family, not including aunts and uncles. But we started doing Secret Santa. Have you ever done Secret Santa? Okay,
I have. Yes,
you can do it online now.
Okay,
where you go online to get Elfster.com. I shouldn't even promote them, but you go on and you can do Secret Santa. Everybody puts a list on. And so anyway, we did that for many years. And Chris used to, and I have to give him credit for this, Chris used to say, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving you something that you want on your list. I'm giving you something that you don't expect.
Yes.
And so that's how this shirt came about. And I got to give him credit for that. Those are the great gifts.
Yes.
Not the ones you put on your list, the ones that the person knew that you would like, and it's something special. So
yes.
So I got to give him credit for that. So
shout out to Chris.
Yeah.
He's good for something after all.
Yes. After all, he is. So
take a look here. The fans are on their feet.
What is going on? Arn Anderson, you'll come into your frame here in just a minute.
And it walks right by him.
I tell you, he
walked right by Chris Benoit, boys. Walked by a fellow horseman.
Yeah, but Flair endorsed Jarrett, remember, not too long ago. So it looks like Arn is following in Flair's footsteps as usual.
How, I mean, you were 10 out of 10 right there.
Oh, really?
You're just screaming.
Yeah.
I got walk into the ring. It was awesome.
You know what? I need to do more of that. I was watching the screener of Rampage that I get. I watch it on, I do it on Wednesday, watch it on Thursday, and then watch it again with a watch along on Patreon/WHW Monday. Here's Hugh Morrison and Conan. But anyway, I need to do a lot more
screaming. Yeah.
Not necessarily screaming, but I noticed that my voice, I kind of bring it down, the conversational tone, and I need to, in other words, you and I do kind of a conversational tone.
Yeah,
here.
you're saying you need to bring it up.
I need to, in other words, I need to start talking a lot more like this.
Get a little more excited.
Yeah, a little more excited. Like, my God, he just put it in a deep.
We didn't even see it. Our cameraman sucked dick here in WCW, and he obliterated him with a wooden chair. We didn't even see it, Tony.
Oh, God. Well, that happens even in today's wrestling.
Let's take a listen here.
Both men were out. Arn Anderson, DDT Chef Jarrett. Kevin Sullivan takes a chair and nails Chris Benoit.
Oh, he just told her where to get off. There he is, if you want him. Pick him up and drag him off, he said.
Jeff Jarrett gets the win in this matchup. We saw just about everything there, didn't we?
That was hot, boys. Well, he's out like a light. Did Kevin Sullivan nail him with that chair? There was not 3 inches of wood left on that chair. It looked like kindling wood when he was done with it.
All right, Mean Gene is trying to get an interview right now.
Yeah.
Gene?
Nobody is talking to Mean Gene. One by one, they're all going to pass him up. Oh, man. The storyline continues here.
How about that?
I want to mention that we're going to be taking a break at the conclusion of this segment because we got something new to announce here, Tony. Oh, there goes Double J.
Yeah. Hands in the air.
He, too, not speaking to Mean Gene. One last try here for Gene.
Okay.
I mean, Arn Anderson out here, he's not saying anything. Chris Benoit not saying anything. You're the only one horsemen are in total shambles in this culture.
You want to talk to a horseman, baby? Well, here's some horsemen. What do you got to say?
What about Benoit?
Just think, once upon a time, this is where we got the infamous pound sand up my ass story.
God.
An all-time Gene and Mongo story, is it not?
It is.
Man,
really is.
Mongo was in some great shape right there, was he not?
Yeah, he looked great, buddy. Absolutely. And so was the Queen.
You a big Deborah fan?
Absolutely. Even the dogs here at the house, as you may be hearing in the background, big Deborah fans.
You think that Wi-Fi lock ain't working and you got an intruder in the basement?
Well, no.
You haven't given it to her yet. So maybe she forgot to lock the door and
no,
back
that's
out
not
in the
it.
basement.
Now that's Chewy. He barks at every person, every dog that walks by the house.
Oh, well, I'm sure that's fun.
Yeah, it is.
Loud racket noise all the fucking time.
All the time. Time.
And is the juice worth the squeeze for Chewy?
Well, God bless him today because he woke me up. I was sitting in a chair sleeping, just sitting up there, waiting to do this podcast, and I heard him bark, and I looked at my watch, and I went, "Oh my God!"
This is Deborah's best performance to date, according to Meltzer.
Chris and Nancy, I don't think so. That girl has been rode hard and put up wet too many times.
Please, we are on the air. You can't.
Oh, yeah. Well, enough about those losers. Let's talk about a winner like myself. I mean, I know all you guys out there really wanted me under your Christmas tree. But you know what? It's not going to happen because I only have eyes for my Stevie.
Hey.
That's right. So where you're going to have to settle with your plump little wives and your boring lives because I'm definitely too much woman for you guys to handle. Happy New Year.
Come on, we're through talking to him, baby. Let's go.
Plump little wives. And on that note, I think we're going to be getting to 50-45 here. I'm going to hit it at 116.45. There it is. Going to take a time out to tell you that, well, if you were in the stadium that day, you probably wanted to hit the road. Get me out of here. We're excited to introduce you to a whole new family opportunity of building memories year-round. Camper Max, specializing in max discounted pricing on travel trailers and fifth wheel RVs that can be delivered anywhere in the lower 48. That's right. From your office, your cell phone, or your couch, you can click or call and find out how easy it is to start enjoying the RVing lifestyle. Now, how easy is it? Well, the Camper Max discount will fit any budget, offering easy financing with extended terms. It's just too easy to go to campermax.com. That's CAMPERMAXX.com. Campermax with 2 X's, or give them a shout. 256-320-7033. They are the home of the Max discount at campermax.com. And be sure when you give them a shout to mention my name, Conrad. Lifelong friends of mine, Rod Wagner, friend of Tony Schiavone's. He's helped us out many times with fun RVs as we've had different excursions here or there. And if you're looking to purchase a motorhome, hang in there. My buddy Rod Wagner is working on that now. They can get you what you're looking for delivered anywhere in the lower 48, travel trailers, fifth wheel RVs. And hey, man, if you're looking to get out of yours, we'll call him for that too. It's 256-320-7033 or campermax.com. That's campermax with 2 X's.com. Be sure to mention my name, Conrad, and get that special hookup. And now with that in mind, Tony, I'm ready to get back to the action, man. What a show we've got. I'm at 116.45 here, wrapping up with Mean Gene here in 3, 2, 1, play.
As far as the 4 horsemen concerned, woman and Chris Benoit may be at the root of it. Let's go back to you.
All right, Gene, thanks a lot. I think we need to take a look one more time at what went down here. Both men were nailed on opposite ends here, Brain.
Well, look at this. Conan comes out, grabs woman from behind.
Here's a guy who was nailed.
Along with Hugh Morris. They're going to take her back. They're going to take her away from ringside. Reflex reaction, I guess, on her part, fighting for her life to get out of there.
I guess so.
With that trick knee she has. Conan goes from behind. Looks like he's trying to put the sleeper on her. That referee's in the way. I don't know what's going on. Jarrett here trying to get into the ring. Arn Anderson DDTs him right here on the floor. And watch Kevin Sullivan.
It's about the same time.
Back. And there he goes. There's a hateful man. There's a mean man. There's Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster. And there's Chris Benoit.
And Arn Anderson rolls him in thinking that Benoit has won. And look at the surprise on the face of Anderson.
This isn't horseman style. This is not horseman wrestling.
Jeff Jarrett.
So there you go. Big, heavy on the story. Maybe an overbooked finish, but
yeah,
a lot of star power nonetheless. What say you?
So overbooked that, the camera missed the shot with the chair, and that's why they replayed it again.
Yes.
To show what we all missed. Craig Leather's at his best, I might say. Wow.
A big-time Sting video. Let's try
man.
here.
We know you've got a lot on your mind, Sting, but you realize you're already wearing the NWO colors. You're wearing black and white. We're sorry. We need you, and we want you back. Don't do what you're doing. I see Sting doing a balcony. He's dropping on people. He comes up, sneaks up behind us. He drops him. What is he doing? Look at the balcony. Sting is in the rafters. What can be going through his mind? Is he NWO or what?
Well, that's one of the burning questions in our sport. Is he NWO or not? Well, this match has certainly NWO implications. This is a match for the WCW World Tag Team Championship. Nick Patrick will be the referee, and that says a mouthful right there. NWO fans are everywhere. WCW fans are everywhere. And we're going to take a look at the World Tag Team Champions here in just a second.
And it's not going to be an easy task for them to hold on to them tag team belts.
because they're meeting the face of the fear along with Jimmy Hart. Yeah, without a doubt, I guarantee you, all the tools they possess. I'm talking about these guys right here. Coming in, talking about the new deal, talking about the NWO, talking about riding high. And I guarantee you one thing, if you just take a tag match, guys, these guys are as good as anybody. I'm talking.
I mean, I got to tell you, just listening to the commentary, the crowd, the NWO music, it's kind of a whole vibe here, is it not?
Yeah. You know what? I really think our best team was me, Dusty, and Brain.
I agree.
I really do. Dusty and Brain were so entertaining, played off each other so well. I just really, God, I miss working with those guys. I really do. I was watching that, as we all were just now, and many of you listening to the Sting video. Doesn't it make it disheartening to know that we had such a great storyline that went for like a couple of years?
Yep.
And we fucked it over.
Yep.
At Starrcade.
Yep.
Does Eric realize that how fucked over that thing was?
I mean, here's the thing. The reality is a lot of people, I mean, I even argue this with Cody all the time. Like, you know, he loves Starrcade 97. He loved that match. It was, you know, but I'm a few years older than him. And I just remember thinking, man, it wasn't necessary.
Right.
We should not have introduced Bret Hart into this. I understand that. Well, but it was the top story in wrestling because the year prior. Yeah, but you're still number one. You're kicking their ass.
Right.
Why would you want your most important match to be a little wink and a nod and inside baseball to a storyline from the number 2 promotion? Like the WWE would never do that.
Right.
And I know people are going to say, oh, well, they made fun of the Nacho Man and the Huckster. Yeah, that's when they were playing catch up.
Right.
But when the WWE, there's no way. And again, I'm not trying to stir shit here, Tony. I'm just saying whatever the storyline was in AEW, they're not going to make that part of the WrestleMania main event. They're just not going to do that. You just don't do that.
Right.
And I just don't think it was necessary. Like I loved, listen, the result was Sting left with the belt. So by that very fact, okay, we checked the box. But man, just beat his ass clean in the middle. Just eat him up, beat him, let him try to cheat and not, it not work. Sting overcomes and Sting's built his whole thing around. But then it's like, well, no, he really beat him, but not really, because we had Bret Hart. It's like, wait, guys, we did this for 15 months.
Yeah.
Pay it off easy.
Right. You are exactly right on all terms, all points to say that. And it just, when I see the Sting video, I just get
what could have been
disappointed that it all transpired that way. But there we go. I mean, 26 years ago, then of course it'll be 25 years ago when it happened. And, yeah, buddy, just some disappointing shit at that time. But there you go. What do you do?
Well, coming up, man, don't miss it. I can't imagine that this would happen ever again or anywhere else. And what timing we've got next Wednesday, a week from today, December 28th, right after AEW Dynamite, the referee in the ring, Mr. Nick Patrick, the former heel NWO referee, will be on the program for what we're calling the Fast Count. It's a conversation between Nick Patrick and Eric Bischoff that I will moderate. It's going to be a rough day for old Easy at the office, and I can't wait. Happens exclusively at adfreeshows.com.
Sounds like to me you guys are getting ready to gang up on Easy.
Well, that's the plan. We're trying to do these little special events. This past January, we had Ric Flair on for the exact anniversary of the 1992 Royal Rumble. He did a fun watch along for that. And as you and I are recording last month, we had Kevin Nash jump on and break down the finish and the main event of Starrcade 1998, where somebody had to end Goldberg's streak. That somebody was Kevin Nash. And of course, he was also the booker. So we're looking for those special events. And the next big one we got in the pike, Kevin Nash is not going to be there because he wasn't part of that show at all. We'll probably talk about that. But the main event is what we're all talking about 25 years later, Sting and Hulk Hogan. And the two guys at the center of the controversy, who else? Nick Patrick and Eric Bischoff.
Wrestling matches wrapped in controversy. Wow. Still happens today. Still happens today.
Yeah, I think next month, actually, as we're talking here, January, that's the anniversary of your infamous Butts and Seats line with Mick Foley.
Wow. Soon to be a comic book. Oh, wait a minute. It's a comic book already.
How about that?
How about that? Oh, by the way, I went to WrestleCade. I think I mentioned that. I had a lot of fans who bought the Tony Schiavone figure. We appreciate that. I get a comic book. I got a action figure. I got a bobblehead. Ooh.
Big time now. And you got a brand new red Range Rover.
Red Range Rover.
Locks you can work with your phone.
Yeah.
You're fancy.
I know. I got beautiful woman like Britt Baker calling me.
You're blowing her off. I'm busy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm doing a podcast.
Well.
Yeah. So
you think we could get you to take a shit live on the air? I'm being sincere.
Oh, I know you are. That's what makes it so funny.
We could set up a camera in there, and I think it would be viral content everybody would be talking about. And then Silva could get in our YouTube, and every clip that week could just be Tony Schiavone shits on.
Yeah.
And just one after another, just run through all the names of the folks that you shit on. But
yeah, one of them would be, probably about 3 of them in, would be Tony Schiavone shits on somebody in the unemployment line.
Who do you got beef with that's unemployed?
I don't know, but I'll be in that line if we put those on.
Wait, hang on. We're not saying we're gonna show your butthole.
Doesn't matter.
If we've learned one thing in wrestling in the last week, it's that you can't show your butthole and maintain your employment contract.
Wow.
Zing. What?
Zing.
Dave Silva suggests we use the hashtag live shitter. Man, what about that for a little bonus piece of content for the WHW Patreon?
No, that's not going to happen. So, ixnay on the butthole.
If only you were around a week ago, we could have saved some young lady's career.
Save somebody's career.
Actually, here's the word I heard.
Oh, okay.
I actually did the math on this beforehand.
Okay.
Let's just say a friend of ours in the group chat discovered that Mandy Rose was posting questionable content.
Okay.
And I said to myself, I bet WWE doesn't know about that. And I'm not going to be the guy who runs and tails.
Okay.
But I did say, hey, hypothetically, maybe she's making a business decision.
Yeah.
And I said to my friend in the group chat, who will remain nameless, hey, hey, friend, how much is the monthly subscription? And he hit me with $40. And I said, all right, well, $40 times 10,000 thirsty. Wait, 400 grand this month?
Yeah.
And then I learned, well, there's really nothing posted there. You got to like DM for it. So it's an upcharge. And then I saw a menu that leaked out where she's like rating hogs and all this other stuff. But apparently for like an 8-second video, it's $115. And I'm like, man, if she's got the base, I think she does.
Yes.
She don't need wrestling anymore.
Wrestling would be in the rear view mirror, as we say. And as you said it right, a business decision.
My goodness. Can you imagine, Tony? All right. We can pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but you got to travel all over God's creation, put your body through the paces, take some abuse and punishment and deal with some politics and show up early and blah, blah, blah. Or you can just go swim around your pool and we'll make you 5 times the money.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Anybody that doesn't get that just is a fucking idiot.
Yes. My goodness.
Yeah.
Now the question is, does she still do wrestling but somewhere else?
No, I don't know.
And I think the immediate answer would be, well, somebody somewhere is going to have some sort of morality clause, or that's not the type of image we want for our business or whatever.
Right.
I heard Tommy Dreamer on Busted Open saying, hey, please give me a call. We would love to have you at Impact. And I thought, I'm glad that we're being a little more progressive about this, because on some level, and I know that I say this as a guy, what do you think you're going to see that's different? Like on some level,
right?
If idiots want to give her $40 or $115, let her take it.
Yeah.
It ain't like there's going to be it's not revolutionary. She ain't the chick from Total Recall. She ain't got a third one.
Yeah.
She ain't, you know what I mean? Like, what do we do? Let her make her money. I don't care.
It almost makes me think of this. Remember when the recent Powerball was up to what, $1
billion? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would drive by on the way back from the airport. I would drive by that sign. I look and I would see it was like 9999. That's as high as it would go. And I knew it was over $1 billion. My first thought was, if I had that kind of money, what could I do with it in the wrestling business? That was my first thought. And then as I drove a little bit further down the road, I thought, fuck that. I'm going to buy a fucking boat.
Yes.
And I'm just going to lounge around on the boat. I'm not going to be in the wrestling business anymore.
Right. In any business. We're a billionaire.
No, exactly. Why would you want to take that money and work?
Yes.
So, yeah, I get it. Good business decision. Like you said, you want to be on the road? You want to be in locker rooms? You want to have the drama, the politics? No. Shit, no. I want to count my money.
Yes.
I want to eat. By the way, if I want to eat somewhere in Los Angeles for dinner, I hop on a private jet and I get there.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. So I agree with all that. Go get it. You know, during all this talk, regardless of what you think about Ming and Barbarian, they're having a pretty good match with these guys.
They're holding their own.
Yeah.
It's better than I thought. Meltzer would
Right.
say most of the match saw Hall worked on at 1.6, got the megaphone from Jimmy Hart and chased him to the back. Hall finally made the hot tag, and after a little brawling, Barbarian missed a high kick to Nash. Nash jackknifed him for the pin, 1 star. So he doesn't love it, but listen, it's a tough act to follow everything that we've seen.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is a definitely Faces of Fear are from a different era.
Right.
They're not necessarily strong promo guys. They're just big, badass bruisers. But as big as they are, they're not bigger than Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
No, they're not.
So anyway, just saying Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are bigger individuals here.
Yes, they are. And bigger personality wise. And it just, but I've seen some pretty good. I mean, I've seen the Barbarian do a couple of his kicks and
yes.
Here we go. Here's 6 running Jimmy Hart all the way back and all the way out with the megaphone. There you go. And the fans weren't really the fans are into Hall and Nash, as we know from the entrance, and into the NWO, but they're not really into this match here. So, but again, like you said, I think they're holding their own. And of course, Scott was such a great performer and a great seller, and one of those deals where, man, wish he could have reaped the rewards that many of us who were in wrestling in that era are reaping right now. Wish he was around for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be the result of the Mandy Rose thing, if you had to guess? You think she's done with wrestling? I know you just sort of laid out, if you hit the Powerball, you'd probably be done with wrestling. But
yeah, I would be.
Do you think she's done, or do you think we'll see her pop up here and there?
It's hard to, I don't know how passionate Mandy Rose was for the business. If she really loved it and really had it in her, and let's say had an ego to where she wanted to be the one of the top stars, then yes, you'll see her back. But I would think that, again, I don't know what, everybody has their own individual taste on money and, lifestyle.
Yeah.
I would think that she's done with wrestling. And that's just putting myself in her position. If I had another money stream, big money stream, which obviously it is, then I would be done with it, wouldn't you? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I could see it either way. I could see.
Well, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it anyway. I could see that, that like Tommy Dreamer said, or even an independent promoter, could say, let's bring Mandy in and let's give her a lot of money because who knows?
We're getting towards the end of this match here. They're going to go plenty of time. I would argue too long, 11:52. But here comes the missed kick, and look at the crowd.
One, two, three. That was the fastest count Nick Patrick made all evening.
See, here's what's weird about this. Just to remind everybody, the NWO's here to take over WCW. They're supposed to be the heels. But look, man, everybody's cheering everything they do, and it's because they're positioned against, no disrespect, a team who's been largely positioned as essentially enhancement talent and bad guys against other baby faces in WCW. Yeah. So it's a heel team versus a heel team. But realistically, did anybody think that people were going to chill for Faces of Fear instead of Razor, Ramon, and Diesel? There's no way.
No, because look around the crowd. I don't think people are going to cheer for anybody against Ramon, Razor, and Diesel. They just set the standard for being cool. And look at them now. Look how cool they are now, right?
Yep.
And look at the NWO. Everybody's The NWO were baby faces as far as crowd response is concerned.
This is a fun match because you just get to see just how over Hall and Nash are. But that gets it done after the big jackknife power bomb. Here it is again. Barbarian's a big boy to be power bombing too, but
yeah, man,
that's all she wrote. Kevin Nash gets it done. And we're going to get it done here. Tony, we're going to take a break at 136.40 when we get there. 37, 38, 39, 40. There it is. And we're taking a break now to talk about something you and I both love, and that's Jimmy's Famous Seafood.
Yeah, baby.
Boys and girls, don't take our word for it. Everybody in wrestling knows this is the best restaurant in America. I mean it. You may not realize this, but a lot of the guys in the business, the guys and gals, they're doing pre-planned meals, right? You don't look like a bodybuilder without working at it. You know that a lot of those folks get their meals shipped to them nationwide from Jimmy's Famous Seafood? Well, they do. And now we can offer you free 2-day nationwide shipping on orders over $125 when you use our promo code WHW. Let me explain. If you've never ordered something like Jimmy's Famous Seafood before, the real expense is in the shipping. Well, how do you beat free? You can't. Just use WHW and you'll get free 2-day nationwide shipping on the best crab cakes in the world. The soups, the chowders, the oysters, the signature steaks, plus desserts and other gluten-free items. And they've got a bunch of packages that make great holiday gifts. If maybe there's somebody in your family that's tough to buy for, or you're going to get together by New Year's or what have you, let's recommend the Famous Gift Box. You got 4 of the world's best colossal Maryland crab cakes, 2 different types of crab soups, a crab dip, a seafood seasoning, and their signature bay sauce. Maybe it's time to get ready for those bowl games and the NFL playoffs. Well, let's recommend a tailgate bundle. It's 2 pounds of wings, a full rack of ribs, a pint of crab dip, and crab cake mix. You can even create your own package. Tony and I think the world of Jimmy's Famous Seafood. We celebrated Tony's birthday there years ago. He even said afterwards, this is the best birthday I remember having. Jimmy's Famous Seafood was a big part of that. They've been in business for more than 4 decades, a real deal American success story, multi-generation, family-owned, and they've been all over TV. If you're a Ravens fan or you watch NFL, anytime they're in Baltimore and they're doing bumpers, buddy, they're all at Jimmy's Famous Seafood. You've seen them on diners, dine-ins, and dives. You've seen them on Beat Bobby Filet and so much more. Now see them at your front door. They're shipping nationwide, baby, at jimmysfamousseafood.com. Be sure to get free 2-day nationwide shipping when you use the promo code WHW. Not enough nice things to say about Jimmy's Famous Seafood, is there, Tony?
It's the best restaurant in the nation, like you said, and Lois and I order from them all the time. We ordered one of their desserts for Christmas, the chocolate pumpkin cake for Christmas. I would suggest that you order. This is a tip from Tony. Order the crab egg rolls.
Oh, those are home run.
That's the best. Now they got crab pretzels, which is a pretzel with crab in it, crab meat in it, covered in cheese. You can order those and bring those home too. So, yeah.
I use the crab balls. My go-to for my family, we did stuffed shrimp. That's what we're going to be having as our Christmas Eve dinner is stuffed shrimp with crab balls and a fillet. I'm getting it all.
Wow.
From Jimmy's Famous Seafood. It's jimmysfamousseafood.com. The promo code is WHW. Just go look. You're going to love it. Tony loves it. I love it. And listen, whenever my Tennessee Titan fans would go up there to play the Ravens, they'd say, hey, man, you travel. Where should we go? Dude, eat all your meals at Jimmy's Famous Seafood.
Absolutely.
When I'm there in town, even with my buddy Cassio, we'll go eat lunch there. We'll eat dinner there.
Right.
Yes, we'll make 2 trips back because they have such a great menu. They have something for everybody. Don't sleep on it. Hurry to jimmysfamousseafood.com. It's great for you or a gift. With the promo code WHW, you get free shipping. But Tony, I'm at 136.40. Let's get back to this replay from Starrcade 96 here. In 3, 2, 1, play. Back at it.
Needs equal time based on what we've heard from Roddy Piper, so let's go to the NWO.
You know, Piper, the time for talking is over. You know, there's an old saying, you better be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. Well, you asked for it, brother. You come strolling back in here saying, hey, I'm as big an icon as Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I'm as big a star as Hollywood Hogan. I want him all to myself in the middle of the ring. Well, Piper, you got what you want, but you're going to regret it.
Well, you know, Trillionaire Ted, I already called the Hacienda Man. Venice Beach, California. The ticker tape parade is going down right now because they're on, that Pacific time. I told him I already won, man. I told him the victory was in the bag. I pinned him in the middle of the ring, and all 6 of his kids were crying in their cold Campbell soup. But, I begged and begged and begged when I came to Nashville. Tell me it ain't so. Tell me it's not really happening. Tell me that the man that wears the crinkled skirt didn't climb on the plane, didn't already fly back to Mother's disaster in the Portland Pacific area, and he's not running for his life. And up until just a moment ago, I thought I was going to have to go out into the ring with thousands of Hollywood Hogan fans wearing my shirt and tell them the real truth, that Roddy Piper ran for his life. I'm the only icon. The belt stays with the NWO, and he's scared to death. But I saw one of his snotty-nosed kids running around trying to bum a quarter to buy a Coke. And I know that Roddy Piper, no matter how much of a liar, no matter how much of a cheater, and no matter how much of a woman he really is underneath that skirt, it's the nature of the beast. You don't leave your kids behind. So all I gotta say, dudes, Hollywood style, we're going out to have fun because I ain't heard nobody say that it's Roddy Piper today. Vince, have you heard anybody say that? How about it, Liz? I know you have. How about you, Trillionaire Ted?
No, not a word.
It ain't Roddy Piper Day. So let me tell you something, sucker. Today is Hollywood Day. To prove a point, to put the final period on my legacy, to show everybody, the people, the producers, everybody in the wrestling business that I made this business. I'll make it tomorrow. And if it wasn't for me, the wrestling business wouldn't be on the map. And I'm not acting with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, or any of those chumps. We're doing it the Hollywood way. Piper, what you gonna do?
Listen, I am an unapologetic Hulk Hogan mark.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be a wrestling fan or podcasting or any of this without being a little Hulk Hogan fan as a kid. But boy, Piper smoked his ass on those promos back and forth.
Boy, I was thinking the exact same thing. That was not that was Hulk Hogan trying too hard to be a heel.
That was Hulk Hogan
Yeah.
playing a heel, not really being a heel.
That's very, very well said. Man, I was thinking the exact same thing. That, wow. And Liz, of course, shaking her head and frowning and all that. Well, here we go.
Diamond Dallas Page. He's not quite yet the superstar he's going to be, but he's starting to get over with the fans. You see the hands in the crowd going up. As a reminder, the thing that really starts DDP's mega push is the following month. Actually, just like a week or two after this, DDP in New Orleans at the Superdome, when he hits that big diamond cutter and refuses the opportunity to join the NWO and hits the diamond cutter on Scott Hall, his career was never the same. He would go on to have the feud of the year in 97 against Randy Savage. But my goodness, what a match he's going to have here with Eddie Guerrero. These are two guys who for a long time have been embroiled in something here about the Battle Bowl ring and other things that don't really matter. But somehow along the way, man, DDP started to get better and better and better. And it certainly doesn't hurt being in there with somebody like Eddie Guerrero. And you would think on paper, well, this is Styles Clash, even knowing what we know now of how great Eddie Guerrero became and how great DDP became. I still don't think when you think of them at their heights, you think, well, this will be a great match. But it was 3 stars here. Eddie Guerrero in this point is probably one of the best kept secrets in wrestling. But I think by this point, folks in the business knew DDP to be one of the hardest working, most driven folks in wrestling as well, huh?
That's why he had the feud of the year in 97 because of the efforts that he put into it.
Yeah.
And not only that, because, the Macho Man helped make him. It's something that he's talked about many times.
Yes.
But he also would Dallas would take a match like this and learn from it and watch video of it. I'll guarantee you that he watched a lot of Eddie Guerrero videos prior to this one.
No doubt.
And he just, his dedication to the craft, there's nobody that comes close to it that I've worked with. Dedication to becoming better.
Really? That's awesome. What a great compliment that is, Tony.
And I'm talking about behind the scenes and in the ring as well. And it's one of the great stories of wrestling. It really is.
Well said.
And he's, look what he's done since then, right? Look at the empire that he's built from DDPY.
It is crazy when you think about it, is it not?
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's still relevant.
Yeah, still making it.
Yeah, still is.
This is a fun match here. Meltzer's going to point out that these guys have, a tall order in front of them. For whatever reason, in following Hall and Nash is the best one I can come up with. The crowd was dead for most of the match, even though Page had the presence and charisma, and Guerrero was one of the best workers around. Finally, as the match picked up and they traded near falls and reversals, the crowd slowly got into it, and it built into a pretty good match. In particular, the final few minutes of the match were excellent. Page has done a great job getting his move over and finally went for the diamond cutter, but Guerrero turned it into a backslide for a near fall. He gives it 3 stars, but man, I know it doesn't necessarily sound it. That's really high praise from a guy who almost universally would disparage DDP. So to come in with compliments like this, to get even Dave's attention, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it is. Also, I something just came to mind right now as they go out. Look at God, Eddie was so smooth.
Yes.
Did Eddie have one of the great mullets of all time?
The greatest. I mean, that's why we started talking about, what do we call it? The Voltron.
Yeah, I guess. Right. That hair just flowing down over his trapeziuses. Is that right? Trapeziuses. Sides cut short.
Are you going to start cranking your tractor here? What are you doing?
No.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I'll take the headphones off.
Oh my goodness. Tony Schiavone cut the mullet.
Yeah, it's cut. I got rid of it. I had enough of it.
So you're letting the scar hang out now?
Yeah, that exact same thing Lois said. Lois said, turn around. Said, hey, see your scar. I said, you know what? I don't give a shit. I really don't.
Good for you. That's the attitude to have. You thought it was going to be a big deal, and we don't care, Tony.
Yeah.
We don't care about your scar. Only you care about your scar.
Right. So it just was, it was too tough to try to keep the mullet down. So, although, look at Eddie pop back up. God. Although it would be pretty cool to have my hair as long as Eddie's. Right.
Dude, if you could get that and just really embrace the Kentucky waterfall, fuck. It'd be so amazing. I want it in my life so bad.
Yes.
That's what I want for Christmas, for you to grow your hair out. That's what I really, really want, Tony.
That's what you want for Christmas?
Yes.
Okay. I'll send a picture. I'll send a
We'll get Tony. You know what? I demand, by God, I demand that Dave Silva get us a graphic on YouTube.
Right.
I was talking about this with you photoshopped into a big mullet.
Yeah. And Eddie
maybe
Guerrero's
even the Eddie
mullet.
Guerrero mullet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not? I love it.
Mullets are great, and mullets are back, from what I understand.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah, talking to the lady who cut my hair, she said young people love mullets now. So
actually, my buddy Cassio, he's got
what?
Well, he doesn't have a mullet. You know, he's bald on top.
Right.
But I was saying he sent me a guy who he absolutely loves. I mean, it gets all over him, and he's got a mullet.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the reasons he likes the fella so much. His comedic performances.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if I can find him. I think you'll dig it.
This is a comedian?
Well, he's an online whatever the hell.
Okay.
And you know how those guys are.
Well, I mean, you know, Cassio's got a couple of friends who think they're comedians. They're really not. So I didn't know.
Oh, buddy, I found it.
Okay.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and send the. We're gonna have some fun with this.
Okay.
I'm going to send, as we're talking right now, I'm sending the details of this account, and we're going to watch it together. And we're going to do it after this match.
Okay.
After Eddie Guerrero and Diamond Dallas Page get finished with their match, that'll give Dave Silva enough time to pull up this guy's account. And he's going to show us, we'll pick a couple of different videos. And I think you're going to really like this guy.
Okay.
I think it's going to work. By the way, as you, if you're watching on YouTube, and we certainly hope you are, it's WHWonYouTube.com. Hit the like button, hit the subscription button or the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell. We're going to be posting little bonus content here and there up there. But it's also a great way to introduce new folks to the show. Sometimes, as you know, these shows go long. Like this one's going to be like 3 hours. But, you know, little bite-sized funny clips. This is the way to do it. It's WHWonYouTube.com. Also, over at LoisRules.com, we've started to crank out some new shirts for the new year, including I Said to Myself, Self. It's a brand new shirt over at LoisRules.com. What are you thinking of this match so far, man? You know, it is obvious that the fans are not really super with it at the start, but they're starting to get to it a little more. And even moves like this, which you would think aren't really doing much, it's getting fans fired up in the crowd because Page is jaw-jacking with him a little bit. He's progressed so much between 95 and 96. I don't even think it's funny. Like, it's really remarkable, the amount of improvement year over year.
Yeah, it is. We've certainly talked a lot about DDP, but also Eddie has just done some very subtle things that you don't normally see.
Yes.
And that was one of the magical things about Eddie Guerrero. Just the subtleties that he brought to the ring that, like for instance, the nip up on the arm drag. He was the only one that did that. Tried to do a backslide just now, and he tucked his head and pulled his head out from underneath there. Just great things that Eddie thought of doing.
Right.
And, you know, I talked about how sad it was that Scott Hall's not with us. Obviously, there's nothing sadder than knowing that Eddie Guerrero's not with us. And you want to talk about the legacy of Eddie Guerrero? To this day, when there's a frog splash,
yes,
the fans chant, Eddie, Eddie. Doesn't that say it? It does say it all. I mean,
yes.
Uh-oh. Referee getting mad here, buddy. His belly's going to pop out on his shirt.
His titty sweat got a little better.
Yeah, got a little bit better. Changed shirts probably.
Where are you at on titty sweat?
Don't like it.
Oh.
Don't like to see it. Don't like to have it.
You got heat with Teddy Sweet?
Heat with Teddy Sweet? Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very uncomfortable. It's not good looking at. So
Learned something new. This whole time I thought you were a big titty sweat guy.
no, I'm not. I'm not for it. I'm not for it at all. I'm not a proponent of it.
Do you think we could, in the new year, as we're trying to think of like marketing opportunities, I think in the new year we could maybe put together like a Tony Schiavone lubricant?
Okay. I don't think you could.
Why not?
What is ooh, I shouldn't even ask this question, but I need to.
Okay.
I got to.
Right.
To be as Bobby Heenan used to say, to be the broadcast journalist that I am.
There you go.
What, in your mind, would this lubricant be used for?
Lubricating things.
Thank you. You mean like tools in the garage? Spray it on a nut so you can unscrew the nut that's rusted in there, something like that.
Well, you wouldn't want to bust that nut accidentally. I mean, here's the thing I'm thinking about just as I'm talking through it. One of the biggest, I love you think this is funny, but like one of the biggest advertisers you guys had was Castrol GTX on Nitro, right?
Right.
Well, is that not by definition a lubricant?
Yes. And I of course it is. Of course
So
it is.
Why couldn't we do that?
But I know you.
Okay.
I know you ain't talking about automobiles here. You ain't talking about cars.
We could do motorcycles, RVs.
You're not talking about any type of vehicle. Oh. Okay. The only vehicle you're talking about is a vehicle to get your bullshit over. That's the only vehicle. Eddie tried the frog splash right there as he tries to change the subject. Eddie tried to frog splash and missed.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
We're going to get a stupid referee bump here in a minute.
Oh, God.
And then we're going to see Hall, Nash, and Six hit the ring. Hall's going to give Paige the razor's edge, which is now called the outsider's edge. Guerrero's going to be on the floor. He's going to climb to the top rope, hit that frog splash, and score the pin.
Yeah.
Meltzer would say, in this case, the outside interference finish was a negative as the crowd was getting into their false finishes, and the crowd reactions went flat once the interference came.
Mm-hmm.
After the match, Hall, Nash, and Six all went after Guerrero, and he managed to fight them all off for a while before they finally overpowered him 3 stars. And at that point, we're down to just 2 matches. Our main event of Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan, and then, of course, Lex Luger and the Giant. It's hard to imagine Lex Luger and the Giant being next, but those are 2 of the biggest stars in the whole company, huh?
Yeah, they are. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we had it happen last week, and I think it's going to be a regular thing. We've discussed this. On the AEW Elevation, Paul White is doing some play-by-play now.
I love that, man.
Yeah. I told Paul, I said, you just, Paul, I was singing the praises of Diamond Dallas Page in the ring and getting better. Paul is doing that as an announcer too. He's working hard to get better. And so I appreciate that. And I told him, listen, one of the great play-by-play men in wrestling, to my opinion, was a former big man. That was Gorilla Monsoon. I said, why don't you listen to Gorilla Monsoon? Listen to some of his stuff, how he called matches. And so there. Amazing, isn't it?
It is.
We're going to watch.
Who would have thought that would be where we are all these years later?
I know. I mean, think about this. Think about this. Who would have thought that Diamond Dallas Page would be this mogul that he is right now with his DDPY? That Paul White would be a play-by-play guy, right?
Right.
And I guess 26 years, you would think that not everybody would still be alive. But, I mean, think of the big stars that are a part of WCW right now that are no longer with us. Wow. And in reality, when you think back, it doesn't seem that long ago in many regards. Uh-oh.
Here they come.
Yep. Kevin just
Dallas advanced to this championship match.
Well, I don't think they're here to help Guerrero.
Wait a minute.
Well, what is this now? What it looks like to me is they're going to go ahead and put him away because he turned him down.
I believe you're right. Diamond Dallas shot down hard.
Man, this is unbelievable.
By Scott Hall.
I bet that's why they did that, because Diamond Dallas refused to be a member of the NWO. Yeah, of course it is. They're not wrong. Guerrero. They don't like anybody to talk back to them. There's your new United States champion. And Guerrero wins it. He wins it. He wins it.
And I don't think Eddie knew what happened.
No, he didn't.
Man, the fans wanted DDP to win that. Did you hear that response?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you said, DDP was moving in the direction of getting himself over, and the fans were with him on that. I thought it was pretty cool that as the NWO comes in, we see Six and we see Scott Hall jog, but Kevin Nash was too cool to jog, wasn't he? He's still going to walk.
Oh, yeah, he is.
That's
good for him.
Yeah, you know what? He knew his part, buddy. Oh, here he comes.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero's going to fire back, and that's not going to work out for him long term.
No, it's not.
But man, what a big reaction he got to kicking Kevin Nash out.
What a big bump that that Nash took right there as well, over the top rope. Oh.
That was a little silly, but
yeah, it was.
They're trying to give him some stuff, and they're selling it, and of course he overwhelms him. Oh, here comes a little bit of trash early in the show.
I know. You know what? I don't mind silly shit. Do you?
No.
I can't think what I was talking about backstage about this. And where are you on silly shit? And I say, here's the deal, guys. All these years in wrestling and the internet and kind of, pulling back the curtain of wrestling, I just want to be entertained. And I don't give a damn if it's a great 5-star match like we saw earlier with Dean Malenko or the Ultimo Dragon, or if it's some silly shit with, let's say, Danhausen.
Right.
Because to me, we had Rampage this past week, and this is some subtle, silly shit, but it really popped me. When Mark Henry did his It's Time for the Main Event,
yes,
and he did his interview, and he had Dustin and the Best Friends and Danhausen in one box and Kip Sabian and his crew in the other box. If you watch that back, Danhausen just stared at Dustin the entire time of that interview. He had his head turning, looking at Dustin like he couldn't believe this guy had his face painted. It was to me, it was just so subtle, but so entertaining. And then he and Orange Cassidy, fake the nut shots. I'm for that silly shit at times. I really am. Again, I just want to be entertained.
Well, I know what'll entertain you. It's as old as the day is long.
Okay.
When I get to 150, when I get to 2 hours on the nose, I'm going to hit pause.
Okay.
And there it is. We're at 2 hours. You know what the original toy you got back in the day was? Do you remember your first favorite thing to play with? Blue Shoe remembers. The nights are getting longer, but the breeze isn't the only thing that's getting stiff. That's right. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Blue Chew. Man, little Christmas ball action. What are you laughing about, Tom?
Where did Silva get that face for that Blue Chew commercial?
I mean, that's your face. I
I know it's the face.
I mean, that's what your face looks like. I want to go ahead and remind everybody that friend of the show here on the program, Mr. Pondwater Dave. You in the loop on this, Pondwater Dave?
Boy, oh boy. I'm not, but I really want to hear about it.
Well, Pondwater Dave says that, and this is a true story.
Oh boy.
He got his grandpa, he got Pop, his pawpaw, as he calls him, Blue Chew for Christmas.
What?
And he says pawpaw hadn't been the same ever since.
Okay.
And nobody has taken it harder than Momo. Guys, we all know that confidence can take you far in life. That's especially true in the bedroom. You know, it's time to step up to the plate. Well, that's where Blue Chew comes in. Think of it as a hot tag for your wiener. Blue Chew is a unique online service. The same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Let's see that product. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And here's the best part. It's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversation, no waiting in line at the pharmacy, just big old super hard cock meat. And Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA. They're prepared to ship directly to your door, all in a discreet package. They get you so hard, even a cat couldn't scratch it. Got a little pro tip. I'm even putting Blue Chip in Dad's stocking this year. If you can benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, chew it and do it. Have better sex, y'all. We got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew. How much does it cost, Tony?
It costs nothing, Conrad. Nothing.
You're going to be nutting, but it's free. All right. Try Blue Chew free and use our promo code WHW at checkout. Then you'll be nutting. And you'll have nothing in it. Just $5 shipping. Pay the $5 shipping. That's it. BlueChew.com. The promo code is WHW. Leave your very first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Tony, this is the vibe, this music. And man, so is Blue Chew. Like, remember the first time you took it and it got so hard, you were like, man, is this okay? And you showed Lois. And she's like, put that away. What are we going to do with that? Put it in your pocket. In 3, 2, 1, play.
All right. Biggest man in the world coming out right here. What an athlete this man is. From the side.
B545. Wrestling this man, I guarantee it's not fun.
So, the Giant coming to the ring. No, the Giant didn't used to have theme music, but when he joined the NWO, he started using theirs.
Yes.
And Meltzer would say the match itself wasn't much, although it was something to see the Giant get up for a missed drop kick. Finish was really well put together and could have worked better in someone's dreams.
Wow.
Luger finally knocked the Giant down using a neck breaker and went for the pin. Either way, we're going to get a nice story here. Luger's going to give Giant a low blow, get the bat, hit him in the chest and in the groin and in the knee, and then score the win for a huge pop. Quote, they made a big deal about this match being the first NWO loss and began the tease for the Giant turn, saying that when the Giant was in trouble, instead of sending out Hall and Nash, they sent out Nick Patrick and Six. So 2-star affair, heavy on story. It's all about WCW versus the NWO. That won't change over the course of the next year. But man, you got two of the biggest stars. Of course, the Giant going to be the first guy who really opposes this heel Hollywood Hogan a couple of months back in August at Hog Wild. Loses the title there. And then, of course, the guy who's going to beat Hogan for the belt is not actually Sting. It's Lex Luger at Nitro 100. So they're at the heart of this NWO storyline. And this is, I wouldn't go so far as to say the co-main event, but second from the top, no matter what you call it.
Yeah. Just on actual site you just glance at both these guys, you're thinking, yeah, these are big stars. These should be in a co-main event.
Yes.
A guy 7'4", and then of course Lex Luger, who looks like a human action figure. Just, yeah. And I always, as a rule of thumb, when fans stand for your entrance, like they just did,
yeah,
you know big stars are coming in.
Right.
And a lot of fans are standing now. See them? They're into this chant before the match even starts.
This pay-per-view, by the way, got 345,000 buys. It is, at the time, the biggest WCW pay-per-view of all time.
Yeah.
Closest, of course, came with the Hogan Flair match back at Bash at the Beach in 1994. That got 225,000 buys.
Yeah.
We beat that a few times since, believe it or not, including Uncensored 96, which was that horrific triple cage with all the different talent in it, but just not a good affair.
Do you have a number in front of you? The Hogan Flair Bash of the Beach from 94.
Yeah, 225.
What was the
Halloween Havoc one?
No, what was the buy rate of the one before that, which I guess would have been Spring Stampede of 94?
It was Slamboree of 94.
Slamboree of 94. Okay.
I did 100,000.
Okay. Yeah. So just by Hogan being on the card, we doubled it.
More than doubled.
More than doubled. So there you go.
You went from 100,000 to 225,000.
Yeah. I remember Mike Weber saying, "Whew, the buy rates really changed when Hogan got aboard."
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, there you go. Again.
By the way, when it was all said and done, Greed, your last WCW pay-per-view from March of 2001.
Yep.
50,000 buys.
Wow.
Starrcade 2000, the very last Starrcade.
Wow.
50,000 buys.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy, dude?
Wow.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's
hard to imagine.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. What does, I don't know if you know what off the top of your head, but what do WrestleMania buys get in the ballpark?
You mean back in the day?
Yeah, back in the day or even now. I don't know.
Well, they don't really get them the way they used to because they're all included in the network, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So back in the day then.
Okay. So let me pull that up here. We'll find, just for comedy purposes, just talking points.
Okay.
We'll say WrestleMania 96.
Okay.
That looks to have gotten 301,000.
Wow. We weren't that far off, were we?
No. I mean, that's their biggest show versus your biggest show, and you won. But
right.
I mean, it's kind of its own thing, you know?
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a much bigger brand than any of the other shows.
Yeah. Right.
No, I stand corrected. That was including international. 290,000 domestic buys for WrestleMania 12.
Okay.
So you beat them pretty handily. 97 though, 237,000 buys. So it's down. Meanwhile, you guys are up.
Yeah.
That's kind of the story of 96, 97 though. Like 95, there's real competition for the first time.
Yeah.
And 96, WCW starts to take the lead. 97, they establish their dominance. 98, the first quarter looks like, man, it's going to be WCW in a runaway. That Tyson shit hits, and man, WrestleMania 14 on, we got a real race.
Yeah.
Let's do some questions. We got tons of questions. As a reminder, we got 8,327 paid here. A sellout, 9,030 folks in the building, 113 grand at the gate, 2.9 million in total revenue by the time you factor in pay-per-view. Michael Double M says, did the Giant leave a giant turd for Tony when he made his way back to the locker room? You've talked about Paul White's doo-doo habits.
Yeah.
When did those stop? I know eventually all good things must come to an end. When did he stop leaving plops around for you?
I think once he became a real big star, probably right after the Dungeon of Doom stuff happened.
Gotcha.
I think so. I don't know a time frame on when I saw the last turd, but he did it. He probably, in reality, he probably only did it like 2 or 3 times. But wouldn't that be enough?
Yeah, it left an impression, it sounds like.
Yes, I'm right. I mean, we always talk about, man, I just took a giant shit. But he really did. Ours was in theory.
Yeah, your giant shit was relative to your other shits. His was relative to everyone else.
That's right.
JBL Cena fan says, did Piper, Luger, and Giant all beating Hogan hurt Sting beating him at Starrcade 97? That's an excellent point. We're going to see Piper pick up a win here in the main event. Of course, we know along the way, Luger's going to pin him in Palace of Auburn Hills as well.
Right.
Should Sting have been the first person, or are you good with it?
No, I'm good with it.
I'm
absolutely good with it. I don't think it killed Hogan's heat, if that's what we're looking for. It's something that I think should have been considered. I think it's something that would be considered today. Do we beat this guy, and is he going to lose his heat? There's so many theories and so many opinions on booking and what works and what doesn't. What today is a little bit different than it was in 1996.
Right.
But I don't think that hurt Hogan because it was Hulk Hogan.
What do you, Dylan Apple wants to know this. First time commentating Piper versus Hogan, what was it like? Now, just to add some context, when you first start doing commentary in wrestling and being involved in wrestling, it's 1983.
Yeah.
And in 1984 is when all the craziness of rock and wrestling and Piper and Hogan started to really pop off.
Yeah.
And at the end of March in 85 is the very first WrestleMania. And there was no mistaking that they were the bigger, more mainstream outfit for merchandising, from television to toys to whatever, cartoons, whatever. Did you still consider that the A show, even when I'm sure you were proud to be a part of the program you grew up with, Jim Crockett Promotions, make no mistake. But it being New York and Hulk Hogan and pop culture, did that feel like the A show to you back then?
Mm-hmm.
It did. Okay.
I'll hit you with this one. And I think this is somewhat answering his question. I thought it was very cool that I could call Hogan and Piper. Okay?
Yeah.
But it would have been much cooler for me to be able to call Hogan and Piper at Madison Square Garden back in the day. I'm not trying to diminish anything that we did or anything that Eric did, the efforts that he put into it, because it was wonderful, right? This time was wonderful.
Right.
But to me, Hogan and Piper in Madison Square Garden, MSG Network, doing it for the WWE would have been much bigger for me.
Talk to me about when you call it here in 1996. At this point, you've been around the business for more than 13 years.
Mm.
It's probably just kind of old hat at this point. It's just a job, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, it is.
What were you thinking? Was this still a big deal to you, Piper Hogan in the main event, and you getting to call it?
Yeah, it was a big deal. Absolutely. It was a big deal for me to finally get to work with Roddy Piper.
Right.
Who I knew was from even back in the day and watching wrestling, to me was one of the greatest talkers of all time, which he proved earlier in the show. I mean, he just made up shit.
Right.
But I also remember thinking that, and of course, I also remember thinking that Piper's interview at that time and the way he approached his business, he was just trying to be over the top silly.
Yeah.
In other words, that wasn't a serious interview. And I don't know. It just seemed like a little bit different to me. I guess it seemed like a man whose career was coming to an end, and he was making the best out of it.
Yes.
Knowing that, and Piper was always a much better talker than he was a worker. We all knew that. But it just seemed, it just felt different with Piper. I mean, I would have loved to, Piper in his heyday.
Right.
Yeah, man. Which would have been WrestleMania 1. Right? Piper and, yeah.
Well, it was a tag match, but yes.
Piper and Orton, right? Against Hogan and Mr. T.
I think it was Piper and Orndorff with Orton in their corner. He had the cast on.
You're right.
Against Mr. T. And oh man, what a ref bump right there. I love that. That's an excellent way to bump the ref.
Yeah, and that's
have the giant press Luger off of you and just collapse the body down onto referee Mark Curtis.
Yeah. Kudos to Luger for doing that too.
Andy Goldsmith has a great question for you, and I know that this is going to be one that's near and dear to your heart.
Oh boy.
Tony?
Yeah.
How many farts did you drill into your chair during the main event?
What, this main event?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Probably a lot. I have what I call post-show farts.
Okay. Speaking of post-show farts, here comes Sting.
Okay. And I've discovered why I have post-show farts. Or
You're having a lot of people blow smoke up your ass during the day?
No. When you talk, and you talk at a high level as I've been talking, you inhale a lot of air.
Yes.
That you have to exhale.
Sort of like doggy style with your girlfriend.
Nothing like that at all.
You push air in there, it's got to come out.
All right. It's nothing like that at all, but be it you to really come up with something like that.
The same thing. Air gets trapped in there.
So by the time we get to the main event, I had a lot of gas. And after the show, wow. Even happens today. A lot of gas after shows.
Now, here's the question, I guess. Do those smell?
No.
Okay. So it's just air. There's no it's no stinky gases coming out.
No. I guess if I got it from my seat and you put your nose right on the seat, you would think it's stinky. But
well, that's probably from the smelly nuts, unless you used your special deodorant that day.
Yeah. Okay. What did Sting just say to Luger? What is he saying to the Giant? My God, what kind of story we got going on now? What's he doing? It's Sting! He left his ball bat in the ring! Okay.
Joe Wright wants to know, what can Tony tell us about the drunk fan that bumped Sting in the crowd and jumped the railing during the finish of the main event? You probably don't remember that off the top of your head. We'll see if it jogs your memory when you see it.
I don't remember, but I'd like to think that he had the shit beat out of him.
Brad Stanton wants to know, was it hard finding viable opponents for Medusa? Yes. Matt Shanks wants to know, Tony, if there was a three-way with Ray Traylor involved, would it be possibly the greatest night in the history of that great sport, or at least until the next show?
Yeah, it could have been. If Curtis Hughes was in it, maybe.
2, 3. Yes, Luger did it! I've never seen a display in my life of physical determination like that. The first loss for the New World Order and of the biggest man of them all. Les Luger picked that man up and slammed him. Got him in the torture ring, over 7 foot tall. Big, huge man, over 450 pounds.
Tony, I have goosebumps. That was a big moment, man.
That was a big moment. The fans responded, and I thought as an announce team, we did a good job of putting an exclamation point on the moment, right?
Have you ever hurt your shoulder or elbow?
I've hurt my shoulder many times.
When you were patting yourself on the back like you were just there, or a different way? Because Jesus Christ.
We did a good job of selling the moment.
I hear you.
And I said we, as a team.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. I've always thought that. I don't give a shit what anybody has said in the past. I've always thought that. I think that now.
As long as your chair is higher and you've got all the information
no
from the office.
No, motherfucker. May you rot in hell for saying that.
You want me to rot in hell for that? Not all the other stuff?
Okay. So anyway, I always thought that it's a team effort to make a good show. It's not one person. It's a team. That's my feeling. Although you can go back to some of JR's work.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah, it was him. Okay. Yeah. It's not the shit on Jerry Lawler or whoever he was working with, but it was JR that made the match. But I thought it was really good. Oh my God, there's a nut shot.
Nobody wants to get hit in the ding dong.
No, they don't.
With Lex Luger steel plate in his forearm, or nobody wants to get hit in the bat with a knee.
I guess
hitting the bat with a knee.
Hey, this was like a 2 hour and 45-minute show, and it was pretty well paced, don't you think?
I think it's great. I mean, we're headed to the main event now.
Yeah.
And 2 Count Kyle says, Tony, did you ever think, looking at the tremendous undercard of talent on this show, man, are we really putting Hogan and Piper at the top of this card? Not that they weren't legends or draws, but they weren't hot like a lot of the incredible rising talents you have here. So
yeah, that's a good point. But I always thought that Hogan and those guys should have been on top because they're Hogan and Piper. Sorry. You just don't do that. I don't know. I mean, we are what, 11 years removed from the height of Hulkamania, right? 85 would have been that.
Yeah.
86.
87 is when he slammed Andre the Giant. So we'll call it 10 years removed. Yeah.
10 years removed from it. So it's not that far removed. It's not like it was 20 years or 30 years later and you're still putting him on top. So yeah, we are still drawing off Hulkamania. And not only that, Hulk just turned heel.
Yes, he did.
Which is probably the greatest heel turn ever.
No doubt.
So yeah, that should have been your main event.
You motherfucker, you.
Yeah. Ask another dumbass question.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, let's put
go hit yourself in the head with a tack hammer like he told you to. Start of the show.
Yeah. Let's put the Ultimo Dragon on the main event with Dean Malenko.
Yeah, then you can go whack off to that, you fucking wrestling fan. What are you, some kind of wrestling fan who comes around here and likes watching what, like fucking wrestling matches?
Yeah, like good wrestling? Yeah.
You mark.
Yeah. Fuck. We want shitty wrestling to be on our main event. Yeah.
Fuck, yeah. Guys will fake fucking hips and shit like that. That's what we want.
That's exactly right. Guys who really can't work.
Yes.
That's what
slow motion motherfuckers like they're wrestling in quicksand.
That's right. Guys who come out slowly with an entourage and know that they
who were on TV 15 years prior.
That's right. Fuck. We don't
who
want
don't
guys
speak or add anything. Fuck. They're here because they're weed carriers.
That's I knew you were going to hit me with something. I just was waiting for it, and there it was.
Oh man, look at this entrance.
Mm-hmm.
He's having a lot of fun here. He's figuring it out. He hasn't quite yet figured out how to be a heel, but he's figuring it out.
Yep.
Here's what I like about Hogan. Hogan is really comfortable showing ass. There's nothing he won't get out here. And I mean, just those silly mannerisms, the dancing, like he'll make a fool of himself. He'll try things. He'll do dumb stuff. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He gets it. He doesn't take himself too seriously.
Listen, because Hulk Hogan had a presence that no one else had.
Yes.
He did. Just like our last question, sure he wasn't the worker that Dean Malenko was, or Ultimo Dragon, or Rey Mysterio, but man, no one had the presence of Hulk Hogan, and it started from the entrance, tearing the shirt off like we just saw, the look, the size, just the mannerisms. Yeah. Listen, God, if you were one of these people that hated Hulk Hogan, and I know there's a lot of you out there, guy, you just didn't get it.
Yeah, that's correct.
You didn't get it. And that's okay. It's okay to not get it. You can be a dumbass. I encounter a lot of dumbasses each and every week in my personal and professional life. You can be one of them. That's fine. That's fine. Go to the dinner table tonight, sit down with your family, look around and say, you know what? I just listened to what happened when, and I've discovered I'm a dumbass.
Really?
Odds are you're not going to kick out of that. You're going to be a dumbass the rest of your life because you just don't get it. It's fine. We need dumbasses in the world. If everybody was smart, what kind of world we live in, Conrad?
A great one. It'd be the best kind of world of all time.
Yeah, it would be.
James wants to know, when the show was over, what were your thoughts on what 1997 would bring? That's a great question, Tony. Did you feel like, well, this is the peak, it won't get any bigger from this, it's all downhill from here?
No, I thought it was going to get a lot better because of the Sting storyline.
Okay.
I thought that was going to be big. And it really could have been big. Smile, Eric, I love you. Wow. How about that? That's Craig Leathers taking the shot of a sign so he can stick his nose up the boss's ass.
Speaking of sticking the nose up the boss's ass, let's be sure to plug the brand new book, Grateful, by Eric Bischoff and Guy Evans, the author of the Nitro book. It's available now on Amazon or bischoffbook.com. And you can still get it on your Kindle if you want to go ahead and gift that, or the paperback just in time for Christmas. Little last minute stocking stuffer. Brand new book available now. Grateful by Eric Bischoff over on Amazon.
Very cool.
Hey, speaking of plugs, I guess you saw that our old pal Dirk Manning has just had a little successful launch for the Arn Anderson comic book campaign. And everybody, look at you, innovator. You do a comic book. Now Arn's got one too. The gang's all here for JCP back in the day.
Good for Arn Anderson. May he have much or more success in his life. One of my favorite guys of all time. Yeah, oh God. I'm glad I was part of his career. I'm glad he was part of mine. I'm very, very happy that I was able to be a part of all this. I'm very happy that I was able to work Madison Square Garden, to work the Boston Garden, to work for the WWE, to work for Vince McMahon, to work for Jim Crockett, to work for Eric Bischoff, to see Hogan be there to call Hogan's match during the time of Hulkamania, and to be able to call Hulk Hogan's match during this time, the NWO.
Right.
I'm very, very proud and satisfied with what I've done. Not many people can say that. So there's a self-realization of how fortunate I am.
Well said, Tony. Well said. By the way, we'd love to have your follow on the show. It's easy to do. It's at WHW Monday on Twitter and Facebook, at WHW Podcast on Instagram. If you want to get blocked on Twitter, just be sure to tweet at Tony Schiavone 24 and just wait. It won't be far behind.
No.
He's on social media, but he hates being social. We can't figure it out either, but it's at Tony Schiavone 24 on Twitter and on Instagram. And of course, the best way to follow our show is easy. It's over on YouTube, WHW on YouTube.com. Throw us a like, hit the subscribe button, turn the notifications bell on. That's easy. WHW on YouTube.com. And of course, we're selling silly shirts and memorabilia and fun ha-has. It's easy, and it's the best way to support the program here. Is it lowestrules.com?
Yeah. How about that? We had a Lowest Rules sign in Dallas the other day. I think it's the same guy. I've met him before. He had a Lowest Rules shirt on, Lowest Rules sign. We've seen a lot of the Texas shows. As we're talking right there, that was pretty cool, the fist being thrown by Piper. Very cool, and Hogan taking the powder and Piper putting Randy Anderson up. This is all pretty cool.
Meltzer really dug it too. He says Piper was as over in this match as anyone this side of Antonio Inoki would be. It was amazing to see the crowd wearing the all NWO t-shirts, cheering Piper and universally booing Hogan.
Oh.
two did the best they could, which wasn't very good, but the match was built up so well, and the two have so much charisma, they didn't really need to do anything.
Right.
Piper looked noticeably older in the ring than in his last match in the WWF stint. The finish saw Hogan miss the leg drop, and Giant comes to ringside. Giant had Piper up for the choke slam, but Piper escapes. At this point, a fan hit the ring, and Hogan and Randy Anderson began stomping him into the ground, but he wouldn't move until the cops dragged him out, and I believe he was arrested. Piper then put Hogan in the sleeper, and the ref checked Hogan, who was out, and awarded the match to Piper. Hall and Nash came out, and Piper beat him up and ducked out. Hogan then left, teasing lots of tension between the Giant and the rest of the NWO, with them blaming the Giant for Hogan's loss, star and a half.
Oh, really?
So we're going to get a little bit of story here and a little bit of a circumstance with a fan from the crowd.
Yeah, Meltzer just is, regardless of the high praise, and this was kind of high praise.
Yes.
He's just not going to give a Hogan match many stars. He's just not going to do it.
I like when he says this side of Inoki, as if.
Yeah, I laughed at that.
Not 100 people in this fucking building who know who Inoki is.
Exactly.
Not being shitty. I love us some Inoki.
Yeah, I do too, but it's just, he goes back to that common denominator.
And I understand he's a more knowledgeable wrestling fan than us and anyone in that building. But
well, of course, and as you can tell by his verbiage, the way he writes, he wants to let you know that too. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I've dealt with egomaniacs my entire life.
And you think he's an egomaniac?
Yeah, could be. Just read the writing.
So
when you're writing something, and as you're writing something, you present it as if you know better than the person reading it, then you got an ego problem.
Just want everybody to know when they quote this for all the clickbait articles, it was Tony Schiavone who said in a loud and clear voice here that Dave Meltzer was an egomaniac. It was not Conrad Thompson. I would never say something.
No, I didn't say that.
You said word for word.
No, I did not say word for word. Yeah, okay.
I have a shirt available now over at lowestrules.com that describes what just happened here on your side of the fence.
Yeah.
You a lie. Not I a lie, you a lie.
Not I lie, you a lie.
You a lie.
You a lie.
You might be the biggest lie I've had seen.
Makes me think of back in the days in Craigsville. Somebody say something, I would go, "You a lie, motherfucker." That was not the hillbilly voice.
It wasn't?
No, here's the hillbilly. You a lie, motherfucker.
Oh, you say it like that?
Yeah, you lie, motherfucker.
Okay.
You a lie. You lie. You lie, motherfucker.
Wow.
That's my Mike's.
Well, where did that come from? I mean, I like it.
That was my Michael Jackson voice.
We'll do it again.
Yeah. You a lie, motherfucker. Was that it? What was that? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to AEW Revolution. Tony Schiavone with a bunch of lie motherfuckers.
I really wish you would do this.
Taz, he's a lie motherfucker. Excalibur, lie motherfucker through that motherfucking mask.
I really hope that Taz hears about this. He will not be happy. Is that fair to say?
I was being funny.
He has no time for your humor.
Yeah, he doesn't. That's right. He does not have any time for humor at all.
No.
He takes everything seriously.
Very fucking serious.
That's one of his charms. Okay.
Very fucking serious.
Yeah. And that is something that makes him so wonderful to work with. Because I've seen him fly off the handle, and I'm telling you, it is wonderful.
Lord bless him.
Yeah. I'm glad he's the only one that I know like that, because that makes him a unique personality.
Yeah. 2 Tazes is one too many Taz.
Exactly. But Taz just, I would just like to, take Taz to parties.
Oh God.
But he won't do that. He doesn't go anywhere.
No.
Yeah. He goes and he does the show, and that's about it. If you happen to see him in the lobby of the hotel, it was
brisk,
and it was like the sighting of Bigfoot. It's like, oh my God, So, yeah.
So when did you become Mr. Social, Mr. Party guy? Is that when you started drinking White Claws?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
To answer your question.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Alcohol wins. Maybe Nature's onto something.
Where are you with this, I don't know if you call it a fad now or what's going on, but there's a lot of seltzers with alcohol now.
I'm out.
You don't like them?
No, I'm a hillbilly. I drink fucking Miller Lite.
Yeah, they don't do me. I don't like them that much either.
Don't get me wrong. If that's all there is, and I'm at someone's place and they're like, "Hey, I got us a bunch of soap." Okay.
Yeah, I'll drink a half of one though. I just can't drink a whole one. And I really care for beer, And if I do drink, which is very rare.
You like Moscow mules, I know that.
Yeah, unless I'm at the Conradison or unless I'm around you and
I'm gonna get you fucked up.
Yeah, you and Paul Bromwell and the gimmick attorney, and JR. That's why I kind of stay away from you guys.
Oh, really? That's why.
Yeah. Because you want to get me drunk and messed up.
No, we do not. We want you to have fun.
Look at Piper take that bump. You can have fun without being drunk or high. Do you know that?
We've had fun. Is this an intervention? I mean, I'm doing a fucking 7-hour show with you. You haven't seen me drink anything besides water. Mother Teresa. You're over there texting women outside of your marriage, giving me fucking wagging your finger about me about what I should or shouldn't do. It's bullshit.
Oh God. Okay. We're showing the scar. I was thinking, why are we showing Piper's?
His what?
His pecker.
Hashtag Piper's pecker. That's going to be a little tongue twister next week.
Yeah, I'm looking. All of a sudden, they cut to a shot of Piper's pecker. I said, "What are we doing?" They're showing the scar for the hip. I got it now.
Piper's pecker.
No, the scar.
How much pecker could Piper peck if Piper's pepper was on pay-per-view? Piper's pepper.
Pecker. How many peckers could Piper's pecker pick? If Piper could pick a peck of peckers.
A peck of peckers. Well, we've gone too long. We've been doing an hour and a half episodes lately for watch-alongs. We did a 3-hour one and we made Tony totally stupid. It's bound to happen eventually.
Oh God.
You think we should open a wrestling restaurant and have jalapeno Piper peppers?
Piper pecker peppers.
Yes, pecker peppers.
Yeah.
Piper pecker peckers.
You know how those wrestling restaurants go? They don't last long. None of them do.
As opposed to what in wrestling that does last besides WWE?
Yeah. Right. No, but I mean, didn't even Heenan have at one time had a
how would you know? You would never support it.
Yeah, I went in there one time.
Yeah, to make sure he wasn't in there and then left. What? You hated that motherfucker. Let's just tell the truth.
No, I did not hate him.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. And you don't bring up that shit. You lie.
Now's the time to tell the joke.
Okay, no.
Please. I've been begging for 5 years on this show. You won't do it.
No. God, I was out, I think, where was I? Columbus, Ohio, getting ready to go inside to the stadium there to do a game. The Gwinnett Braves against the Columbus Clippers. And the guy was standing outside, and he said, "Hey, I need to ask you something." I went, "What?" I thought it was baseball related. And he said, "Tell me the joke." I said, "Get out of here, dude." Oh, God.
It's a good joke, though.
Okay, this match has kind of slowed down a bit.
A bit?
Yeah. It started out quite well, but right now, as you can see, the fans are like staring.
They're ready for it to be over now.
Yeah, they are staring into oblivion right now.
They're Burnout Jones.
They're not even moving.
No.
The fans are like
in the ring or out of the ring. There's no movement.
That's right. Right now, look. All right, you could have put a still shot of fans on a green screen.
Yeah, this is actually the first ever COVID era Underdome show. Those are all just LED screens of Zooms with people watching.
I never did watch that. Did that work out for them?
No, it sucked a dick from the back and took nut in the grill.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now they're starting to get up because something's happening. Somebody's coming in. The Gant.
You called him the Gant?
The Gant.
I love that now.
You don't know that joke?
No.
You don't know that story?
No.
Okay. Kevin Sullivan used to, write his, is this the fan?
There it is.
Yeah, there he is.
He's got Piper up. There's a fan in the ring, for crying out loud.
Yeah, he ain't in that long. That's the wrong place to be.
Piper kicks Hogan down. Piper up in there. Choke the Piper's a fight. He bit him right on the nose. He's gouging the giant. Here you go. The Giant's out. He's got rid of the Giant.
David Crockett's in there.
Okay, got that. What are you behind him right there? Sleeper off. He's got the sleeper off, Hogan. Good night, Irene. He's got him. He's got him hooked good. Real good.
Man, that fan jumping in, that added a little moment of realism there, didn't it?
It sure did.
Got everybody standing up, too.
Yeah.
But here it is, man. Piper has it cinched on here. Hulk Hogan's going to take him a little nap. It's non-title. It's the main event. Here it is.
Randy Anderson's got up for one. He's got it up for two. Here it comes. Bring the bell. Bring the bell. He put him to sleep. There's the man Hogan never beat. Beating Hulk Hogan. He's got it. That's unbelievable. Randy Piper. You're unbelievable, brother. Piper wins. Piper wins. Time out, David. There's your winner, Roddy Piper. He said, "I'm not with the NWO. I'm not with WCW. I'm for myself. I'm all by myself. I don't want Hulk from." Look at it, standing on Hogan with 1 foot. There's the legend. There's Hulk Hogan. There's the icon in this sport. And
Let's take a timeout right now because we've got we're still rolling the footage here if you want to watch along with us. But
okay.
Hall and Nash are coming in, but I do want to bring up the point, and I want to get back to the Gant in a minute. So remind me about that. But we just saw a pretty big moment in wrestling history, and the finish I feel like was made a lot better by Randy Anderson's facial when the arm drops for the third time. He was almost like, "What is that?" And then he rings the bell because nobody expected that to happen.
Yeah,
but it wasn't right in the center of the ring. It wasn't the best camera work. It wasn't like against the hard cam. All the little things you would want for a big major moment, those aren't really there. And what's interesting is it does get a big reaction from the crowd, but you compare that reaction to the reaction that happened in the match before, where Luger beat the Giant and they called it the first loss for the NWO. And I get the storyline here is that we're trying to blame Luger for that or blame the Giant for losing and then blame the Giant for not getting the job done here. As you see his son Colt with Roddy Piper and his pal in tow. I'm wondering in hindsight, should the first loss that gets handed to the NWO been at Hogan's expense?
That's a good point. I think that's a pretty valid point. Because he was the leader of the NWO, so to speak, or he was Hulk Hogan.
I just think the reaction even to Luger Giant, that was a much bigger crowd pop for the NWO loss than it was even here.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's a valid point. I didn't even cross my mind.
I understand as a storytelling device, we got to plant the seeds there with the Giant, and we see the post-match angle here, and I get that this is important, but they could have still done all of this with him getting a win over the Giant or over Luger. Right. I don't think it would have hurt him necessarily, but
it may have helped the storyline.
Right.
That I got the win and you didn't.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool.
Hell,
well, listen, you should have been a goddamn booker.
No, thanks.
Yeah.
I'll stick to learning about the Gant.
Yeah. So the Gant is Kevin Sullivan. We had a whiteboard in the boardroom there, and Kevin used to in Atlanta, and Kevin used to write the pay-per-view card up on there and some ideas. And one time he wrote he couldn't spell giant. Instead of Giant, he wrote Gaint. And I walked in, I said, "Who's the fucking Gant?" And the fucking room broke up. And so we, backstage with Kevin, we always called him the Gant.
I love it.
So I would say, well, which match is the Gant going to be in, Kevin? So that became kind of an inside joke about him not being able to spell giant.
Well, we know that there's going to be lots more inside jokes as we get together next week. We're going to revisit the night after Nitro, or the night after Starrcade 97, the fallout from Hulk Hogan and Sting in 1997, 25 years later. The Monday after is what we'll revisit. Of course, that happens here on What Happened When next Wednesday, but also next Wednesday night at adfreeshows.com. For the first time ever, Eric Bischoff and Nick Patrick get together to talk about the biggest pay-per-view in WCW history. You don't want to miss it. It's happening at adfreeshows.com. But Tony, right now, it looks like it's about that time.
And ladies and gentlemen, it is seen that Dave Silva has come to the ring all lubricated, and it must be Tony Schiavone lubrication. And we hope has nothing to do with what is put in your hotel room that is in those pump bottles that is up against the shower. We're desperately out of time and obviously out of jokes. We'll see you next week on What Happened When. We come to you Wednesdays on Cumulus. But Mondays we come to you on
Patreon! Patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com.